program this morning. Did you guys catch the Trump interview on Tucker Carlson last night? Oh my goodness. Was that not like the best interview? That was an incredible interview. I'm going to start talking about that today. The interview blew me away. All right, it sure is. My name's Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 46 years on the radio this year. Welcome. Did you guys catch the President Trump interview on Tucker Carlson last night? Oh my goodness. It was the full hour. And I just couldn't stop watching. I've seen it twice because I watched it last night live, was completely blown away by it. And then I went through it again this morning because there were a few sound bites I wanted to pull off of that interview so we can discuss it. And I will go through them as the program goes on. But that interview with President Trump last night was absolutely amazing. And the things he talked about are so important. There were so many things talking about what happened when he went to New York and all this. But I was really, really moved when he was talking about what's going on with this senile old coot we have in the White House right now. Corn Pop's buddy, Joe Biden. And what he's doing so far is war. And President Trump spent a lot of time talking about the N word. He says there's two N words. You never say either of them. And of course, he was talking about nuclear. You know what the other one was. And it was really frightening. You got to understand something. When President Trump is talking about the dangers we are facing in a nuclear conflict, he was president of the United States and he will be again. His analysis that he gives is very well informed. He knows the people involved. He's dealt with the Chinese. He's dealt with Russia. He knows the capabilities of our country and theirs. And because he's a president, he still has access to, national security briefings. The people around him are well informed and briefed as well. And I know the liberals and the Uniparty want to discount President Trump. Oh, he's a reality star. Listen, The Apprentice and the Celebrity Apprentice were started because Donald Trump was such a successful person. So I don't know why they think that discounts him. I don't understand that. But he's not a reality star now, okay? He was president of the United States. He'll be our 47th president of the United States unless Biden has to resign and Kamala steps in. Then he'll be the 48th, but he will be president again in 2024. And when he talks, it is a very well-informed discussion with well-informed, educated analysis on what we are facing. And I was really frightened hearing him talk about the dangers that Biden is getting us in so far as a nuclear war, both in Europe with this Ukraine nonsense and China just running all over us. I haven't heard a president talk about nuclear war like that since I was in middle school and high school in the 80s and Reagan was president. Now, before I get through the clips that I pulled off from this interview, which I'm going to go through, and we're going to talk about all of them in detail. And I do want to take your calls this morning on this great, just incredible interview that Tucker Carlson did last night with the president. But those of you out there, for some reason, that don't like Trump, that don't support Trump, that say they're not going to vote for Trump, I really want to hear from you today. I really do. You don't have to be a never Trumper to call in. But if you watch that interview last night with the president and Tucker Carlson, I don't understand how a single American would want anyone other than Donald Trump to be president of the United States. He talked a lot about the nuclear threat, and he said that he made a very, very serious statement to both Putin and China. He told Russia, if you go into Ukraine, something terrible is going to happen, and he told the same thing. China, you go into Taiwan, something terrible is going to happen. He said, neither of them believed me. They believed me 10%. But he kept them in check, as opposed to what we're going through now, because they knew that he was serious. Whatever he threatened them with, he didn't want to do, but he would do it if he had to avoid a nuclear conflict. And I must tell you, I would say, based on President Trump last night, we're the closest this country has been to being involved in a nuclear conflict since the Cuban Missile Crisis. Seems pretty scary, doesn't it? Yeah, it does. But I really would like someone who is not on the Trump train, which I just don't understand, explain to me why in 2023 you were not supporting Donald Trump. I just don't get it. And I'm serious as a heart attack on that. You know, with other presidents, when people oppose them, there were, for example, G.W. Bush, when he was running in 2004 for re-election, big issue was the escalation of the war in Iraq. And, you know, people that were opposed to George W. Bush and supporting John Kerry, who's a creep, at least they had an argument. Hey, listen, I'm anti-war. I don't want to escalate in Iraq. We shouldn't have been in Iraq. He got us involved in this massive war. They had an issue they were opposed to. Those that opposed Ronald Reagan, I mean, I didn't agree. I don't agree with their opposition to Ronald Reagan, but a lot of people said, "Hey, listen, we need to stop building nuclear weapons." Now they were, you know, left-wing lunatics, and they were wrong, but at least they had an argument. You know, this nuclear buildup, it's a dangerous thing. You know, I don't agree with it, but they had a case, they had an argument. Obama, people opposed to Obama, you know, Obama ran both times on a socialist platform, and what did he do? He nationalized the private healthcare insurance industry and destroyed it, and it's never recovered. That's why today I am uninsured, because insurance for someone my age is just the premium's too high, the deductible's too high. That's not insurance. Thanks, Obama. So there was an argument against Obama. Joe Biden, the arguments are many, but on top of the fact that he's a senile old coot who's suffering from Alzheimer's, some age-related dementia. I don't know, dementia. I feel like I'm in another dimension that he's, you know, so there's a big issue there. Also, Joe Biden is the most corrupt criminal person ever to be president of the United States, and it's a national embarrassment that we have such a corrupt criminal as the president in Joe Biden. So you can go through all the past presidents, and whoever opposed them, they may have been right, they may have been wrong, but they had an issue. Why would you oppose Donald Trump? I am serious. I want to hear people explain that to me today. You know, that interview last night with President Trump by Tucker Carlson, all of you should watch it after I go off the air. Don't do it now. After I go off the air, if you have not watched it already, especially if you think you don't like Trump. Now, I understand why the Lincoln Project, Paul Ryan, Bush family, Karl Rove types don't like President Trump. It's because, you know, it's like people work for a company, someone buys the company, someone comes in, they change everything. You know, this country, it's very obvious when you see what they're doing to President Trump. They've been doing this since he came down the escalator with all these investigations, and the most recent is this indictment. They got George, all this nonsense. America is not a free country. It's a myth. It's an illusion. It's like the Matrix. We are run by a corrupt bureaucracy and the deep state, and a lot of foreign influence, right, that have been buying off our politicians. China owns Biden, Mitch McConnell, and others, right? I cannot believe that everyone doesn't see what I'm talking about here. So we're going to take our first break of this Wednesday morning edition of Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. When we come back, I want to hear your calls. Those of you who saw the interview last night with President Trump, I really want to hear your thoughts and analysis, because I thought it was a beautiful interview. And those of you that are never Trumpers, Democrats, not voting, I want to hear from you too. And I'll tell you what, I will not use my full powers of debate with you anti-Trump people today. I'll give you a bit of I don't want to say a free pass, but I'll give you a lot of leeway because I just cannot believe that. And I'm throwing this out. I do not believe that there is a single person, and I'm opening up the phones at 1-888-GO-CANE, 1-888-465-2631. I don't believe there's a single person that could make a case to not support and not vote for Donald Trump and vote for anyone else, especially the senile old coot that we've got right now that has bunny rabbits telling him what to do on Easter. 1-888-465-2631. I'm Brian Craig. We'll be right back.
Don't sit on the sidelines.
I'm serious about that. If you do not support Trump, if you're not going to vote for Trump, call me. I want to hear your argument why we should not support Donald Trump. And I am so serious about that. So serious about that. And I will not give you what I would refer to as the treatment. I won't, I'll let you make your case and we'll talk. Because I just got to hear that one. I really got to hear that. And those of you, of course, that are MAGA, I want to hear from you too, because that interview last night was that powerful? I mean, that was like a Cold War like interview. I didn't realize how close we were to a nuclear conflict. Who did, right? Yeah, our number, it's toll free, 1-888-465-2631. 1-888-465-2631. And I know there's people that aren't voting for Trump in here. Oh, I'm serious. Oh, this is a new commercial I just did. Haven't heard it yet.
Go to any lab test now at Boca and any lab test now at Coral Springs. Their prices are guaranteed to be the lowest you'll find anywhere. No appointment, doctor's order, or prescription is needed, and you're in and out in 15 minutes or less. They offer every lab and blood work your doctor could order.
Got my new Trump 2024 Save America again coffee cup.
Any lab test now at Boca and any lab test now at Coral Springs. There's lots of any lab test nows around, but these are the only two advertising on our radio station. So don't use the rest. Only go to any lab test now at Boca and any lab test.
No, I'm so serious.
Tell them you heard about them on the radio.
Florida A&M University Medical Marijuana Education and Research Initiative, the Florida Association of Broadcasters and this radio station.
Mary on Demand is live. Start your marijuana education journey today and learn more with Mary on Demand. Take the self-guided education series at your own pace. You decide what you'd like to learn and when. Visit mary.famu.edu.
Give me a 1 if you saw the Trump interview on Tucker in the chat. I thought it was just a beautiful interview.
Mary, educate, learn, talk.
Scott here from cutmykilowatts.com. We are an energy saving and insulation.
Oh, yeah.
We make your home energy efficient, cut your
That was a great
electric
interview.
bills up to 60% and pay little or even nothing for the repairs. Make sure you get your fair share of the Inflation Reduction Act. Rebates
Well,
up
they'll
to
hear the highlights because I'm going to
$15,000
play the audio.
Funds available on a first come, first served basis. Rebate programs for low to moderate income families up to $150,000 of income. $14,000 per year. This is huge. You can use this money for insulation and radiant barrier, up to $2,800 available. Hybrid hot water heaters, up to $3,750 available. AC units, up to $10,000 available. Electric panel upgrades, up to $6,600. And after we reduce your home consumption by 35% or more, you get additional rebate money of $4,000 to $8,000 if you qualify. To find out how much you qualify for, call me 954-939-1500. That's 954-939-1500. Or go to cutmykilowatts.com and fill out the form.
Now back to the Steve King Show with Brian Craig. Listen in the Palm Beaches on 95.9 FM, the Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM, hear us in Boca on 95.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, and anywhere in the world at TrueOldiesFLA.com.
All right, welcome back. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to Steve Kane Show. Tucker Carlson's incredible interview with President Trump last night. You know what Tucker Carlson did that was incredible, and one of the things that made it such a great interview? He didn't talk much. He'd ask a question, and he'd sit there and listen and wait and just let President Trump talk. I hate when I'm watching an interview and people keep injecting while President Trump's talking. Just let him talk, and look at how great that was, and all the things we found out about and we wouldn't have found out about. It was unbelievable. Now, I want to take a moment before we get to the interview with the president last night to tell you about my chiropractor, Dr. Philip Appleton. He has just made my life so much better, so much easier, and pain-free. This past Friday, for the third time, he helped me with just terrible pain. The first time he helped me with this laser away pain treatment was with my knee pain that I was suffering from after my skateboard accident. I have a longboard skateboard. It's a very long skateboard. It's for long distances. It goes fast. And I was live streaming while I was on my skateboard, and I was reading the chat room as I was skateboarding, and I lost coordination, and I fell hard. My knee was hurt. And after just 2 treatments with this laser away pain treatment, pain was gone. Hasn't returned. It's been about a year. Same thing with my arthritis in my finger. The finger I used to push all the buttons at the radio station for the last 30-some years, including the famous dump button when we have liberals call in and use profanity and things. I had arthritis. 1 treatment with the laser away pain treatment, gone. And then on Friday, late afternoon, I'd been suffering from some pain. It was getting worse. And my shoulder, the shoulder blade in my back, it was in so much pain. And it was Friday afternoon around 4. And I told my wife, I said, I'm going to go see Dr. Appleton tomorrow. And then just a few minutes later, I just couldn't take the pain anymore. I got in the car and I went to Dr. Appleton's office, got there about 4:30, and he treated me with his laser away pain treatment. I was in massive amounts of pain. I'm completely pain-free in my shoulder now, completely pain-free after just 1 treatment with Dr. Appleton's laser away pain treatment. It's absolutely amazing. It works on all kinds of pain too. So give him a call. He's open Monday through Saturday. Walk-ins are welcome and appointments are not needed. I didn't call ahead. I just went over there. And I met a nice listener. She was having some treatment done for her pain while I was there. Give him a call. Dr. Appleton is 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. And online, AppletonChiro.com. Make sure you tell him you heard about him on the radio. All right. So our number 1-888-465-2631. I'll take a call or two, and then I'm going to get into some of the audio from this great interview with the president last night on Tucker. But I am very serious. I'm going to keep a line open all morning. And it may take a while because, maybe they have to work up some courage. I want to hear from someone who is not going to vote for Trump and explain to me why. I really want to hear that. I don't understand it. I really do not understand it. But maybe we'll. I don't think they'll be able to convince us. I know they won't, but there's no way. And especially with that interview last night. Good morning. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning. Hello?
Yes, hello. I hear some arrogance in the voice. Must be a liberal.
Good morning, Bob from Utah.
Hey, Bob.
Yeah, I just wanted to say good morning to you. I agree with you. I'm a supporter. And so obviously you want to talk to the Democrats, but I just love your show. So thank you very much for your...
Well, I appreciate it. Well, thank you from Utah. Welcome to the show, and thanks for calling. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is James from Pennsylvania.
Hey, Jay, what's up?
Yeah, now, my question is, I know you said you want, why they not supporting Trump. My question is, why isn't the black community not supporting Trump? And a large majority, why in the world would black folks even support Democrats after the way they've been treated?
It's pretty obvious. Brainwashing, brainwashing.
And then they got, talking Trump being racist. I don't know if you listen to rap music, Brian, but you remember the rappers, they all had Trump naming their in the 90s and the 2000s. As soon as he ran for election, he was a racist.
Mm-hmm.
It kills me. And me as a quote unquote black person, I try to get people to understand, but people think I'm brainwashed because I support Trump. No, I'm a free thinker. I'm a critical thinker. Before my aunt died of COVID, she put it in my face. I was on that left train, and then my aunt put all the evidence in front of me. She said, look who was in charge. And you know who was in charge? The Democrats.
Mm-hmm.
How can I even hate the right? Because it's like this. If you never tried vanilla ice cream and you've been fed chocolate all your life, you can't say vanilla ice cream.
Well, here's the thing. Okay, you bring up some good points, but I'd be specific. What was the one thing that your aunt on her COVID deathbed told you that said, okay, I'm on the Trump train, I'm MAGA, I'm a Republican? What was the one thing that convinced you?
I was on MAGA before. I was on MAGA in 2017. Well, the one thing she told me was the welfare state. How the welfare just destroyed the communities, like of people of color, black folks. How it just made so much chaos, drugs, crime. People sitting home, blasting music. Terrorizing the neighborhood. And the one thing I seen was the crime and destruction.
Well, I'll tell you this, okay? You asked a question, which I know you asked rhetorically, but I'm going to answer it anyway, about why should blacks support Trump? Why should African Americans support Trump? For the same reason we all do, all the reasons that everyone does, we should support him. But to be a little more specific with the black community, this is common knowledge. This isn't breaking news. Under President Trump, the employment, not unemployment, under President Trump, the employment rate for African Americans was at its highest rate in the history of employment statistics in this country. That's a very good reason, on top of all the other reasons that we talk about. But yeah.
Did you hear about the first? Did you hear about Trump signing the First Step Act, which released thousands of inmates out of federal custody last year that the news did not talk about because they?
That's right, and Kamala Harris, this is a true statement I'm about to make to you, okay? The black vote, okay? Kamala Harris, who was Attorney General of California, Willie Brown's girlfriend, went far, huh? And Joe Biden, between Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, those two individuals have enslaved, through jail sentences, more blacks than any other two people in the history of the United States. Because remember, because Biden supported those very tough sentencing guidelines on drugs back in the 80s and 90s. And when she was Attorney General, she was putting people in prison, in jail, because their kids were skipping school and things like this. So Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, before they even knew each other, combined have put more black people into bondage than any other Americans in history. Think about that.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to tell. I try to tell black folks, but they don't want to. A lot of them don't want to listen.
Yep.
When I ask them, I'm gonna tell you. When I ask black folks what is racist about Donald Trump, they just can't name it.
That's right. They say everything. Then they say everything. And hey, listen, thanks for the call. Welcome to the program. And everyone, notice this caller says ask, not axe. Huh? Right? All right. Take care. We'll be right back.
Making morning radio great again. It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Great calls today. Great calls today, huh? Very good calls today. Now, listen, guys, I just want to take a moment here during our bottom of the hour break to tell you about the Thomas Edison of sleep. And of course, who's that? Mike Lindell, the inventor of the My Pillow. And I want to tell you guys, he has a new product. I have one. It will change your life. The 3-inch My Pillow mattress topper, which turns your whole bed into a My Pillow. He has a new upgraded version of it, the My Pillow 3-inch mattress topper with the cooling technology. Brand new. It goes together with the My Pillow 2.0, the 3-inch My Pillow mattress topper with cooling technology. It's called the 3-inch My Pillow mattress topper 2.0. Is 40% off and free shipping with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. All right. And that mattress topper will change your life. I've been sleeping on that 3-inch My Pillow mattress topper for a couple years now, and I sleep the whole night through until my alarm goes off. I used to always wake up before the alarm went off until I started sleeping with the 3-inch My Pillow mattress topper. And the brand new one, the 3-inch My Pillow mattress topper 2.0, which comes in every mattress size, is 40% off and free shipping. And it's a great, it comes in every mattress size there is, small all the way up to the biggest. And I have a link in the description of the video if you're not watching live. And if you're watching live, I have the link to our My Pillow page pinned in the chat. So you click that, you'll see it. And you can take advantage of all the specials there with our promo code Kane, by the way, Kane. So it's a great way for you to support the show, too. So go buy your My Pillow products. But that My Pillow 3-inch mattress topper 2.0, 40% off free shipping. It's a life-changing thing. So make sure you buy it with our promo code Kane, Kane. Yeah, I mean, this is just crazy times that we are in. I mean, am I the only one who was terrified at how close Biden is bringing us to nuclear war? When you heard President Trump talking last night, that was some scary stuff. I mean, I don't like hearing that, but you know, Biden cares about one thing and one thing only: getting paid and getting his degenerate family set up with enough money that no matter how many drugs and hookers they pay for the rest of their lives, they'll never have a money problem. That's his whole focus. Yeah. Oh, I was just getting ready to do this commercial. Unforgettable journey, head to BrianTrain.com and request a brochure. Book your spot now and make memories that will last a lifetime. Make sure you guys all like the video. That helps so much. My daughter, she's doing well in California. You know, she's having a great time. She FaceTimes us when she's driving around to show us, you know, where she's going and stuff all the time. But we're going to have her come back and visit soon. Yeah, I that interview last night was like the best interview with Trump. I mean, he really talked about a lot of great things. I'll take some more calls, and I'm going to go through the clips I pulled off. Brian Craig here. I've suffered with massive pain in my knee for years. Not anymore. It's all gone. Thanks to Dr. Appleton. Oh man. I'm in studio right now with Dr. Appleton. Dr. Appleton, how's you doing? Let me go over a couple articles here that I've been talking about. Now, you don't just help with knees. Tell the listeners what other areas you can help with. Any joint I can do. Shoulder pain, hip pain, sciatica, stenosis, arthritis, tendonitis, bursitis, from the foot all the way up through the neck. Dr. Appleton is a chiropractic physician. With the laser away pain system, no injections, no surgery, and no drugs. He's open 6 days a week and same-day appointments are available. Call right now for your free consultation. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. Make sure to tell Dr. Appleton to put about him on the radio.
Hey, it's 2 Men in a Truck.
Good morning. I'm man number 1. And I'm man number 2.
You're right on time.
We're the movers who care. We can handle all your moving packing needs across town or across the country. Don't forget, we offer climate-controlled storage.
I'm so glad you're here. My last movers caused me a lot of grief. Now I can relax.
We move people forward. Find us at 2menpalmbeach.com and 2mentreasurecoast.com. 2 men and a truck. Now back to the Steve King Show.
All right. Yes, we are back. I'm Brian. We're talking about this incredible interview with Tucker Carlson and President Trump last night. I was blown away by it. I'll take some more calls, and I'm going to go through some of the highlights of the interview, and we'll talk and analyze them. And as the program goes on, our number one 888-GO-CANE-1, I think it was like Trump's best interview. I mean, he really, really told it like it is. And what we're hearing isn't just a president. We're hearing our leading candidate, our nominee in 2024. Very important stuff. All right, let's go back to the phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Renee from Harlem.
Hey, Renee, what's up?
Well, I've been just listening to you last few days, and it's making me laugh. I just wanted to give a good shout out for good karma to bring the birther in chief. Obama got bin Laden, and Trump got arrested and impeached twice.
Uh-huh.
How you can call that a success?
Yeah.
Because the man is a complete farce.
Uh-huh.
You've been talking about how the Democrats are the party of racism. And I just want to remind you, because you willfully overlook this every single time, the Dixiecrats, those
I love it. This is
racists,
good. Uh-huh.
50s and 60s, they joined your party in 65.
Uh-huh.
You,
Okay, now that oh no, slow down. Let's talk. You brought up no, before you get to it. Hold on. Before you get to the next one, let's stop on the last one. You mentioned several things. I want to comment on one of the things you said with some truth. The Dixiecrats. Okay, who were the Dixiecrats? Do you tell people may not know? You know, so who were the Dixiecrats?
racist.
Well, okay, okay. The Dixiecrats were a group of Democrats in the Senate. One of them was the father of Al Gore, who did not support the integration of America and were opposed to the Civil Rights Acts. Okay. Okay, so what happened to the Dixiecrats? What happened to the Dixiecrats?
They became Republican.
Wrong. In fact, and you can go and research this. You're not going to admit to this, but even though you won't admit to it, when the call's over, you'll go online and you'll find the truth. You'll never admit it, and but you'll know, and people in the audience will know. Every Dixiecrat except one went back to the Democrat Party. Every Dixiecrat except one. The Dixiecrats they weren't Republicans. They were Democrats who were forming their own Democrat offshoot. And after it was all over, every one of the Dixiecrats went back to the Democrat Party except Strom Thurmond. Strom Thurmond became a Republican. But every other Dixiecrat, and there were over 20 of them, the exact number I can't remember, it was 25 to 27. So 25, 26 of them went back to the Democrat Party. One became a Republican, Strom Thurmond.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah, and you know what? By your reaction, you know the truth. You just like Joy Reid, you want to lie to people.
Can you say the word comma?
Comma?
Yes.
Comma.
Comma, and they say la. Comma, la.
Oh, Kamala?
Vice President's name correctly.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe if I'll tell you what, when Willie Brown's girlfriend comes on the show as a guest, I'll pronounce her name however she wants. Well, first off, gentlemen do not talk about other men's wives, but my wife is at home. No, you brought up Kamala, not me. I didn't bring up Kamala Harris. Now, I want you to, this is what I would like to ask you, okay? I know you're feeling stupid and you're trying to do something that'll force me to hang up on you by talking about my wife. You're almost there, but we're not quite there yet. Give me a policy of President Trump's that you're opposed. Not a personality trait, not something from when I'm talking about a policy of Donald Trump's that he either brought to us in his first term or is talking about in the next term that you are opposed to, that's bad for this country.
Did he want to kill 5 black men for a rape that they didn't commit?
No, he did not want to kill black men. You're talking about these Central Park rapists that the rape victims said they did it, and they were, convicted in a court of law. No, that's not done. I asked for a policy as president, or that he's proposing for the next term of Donald Trump's that you oppose.
Did he accuse President Obama of being an illegal?
No, what he did. Now I'll tell you what I'll tell you what Donald Trump did, because it was absolutely amazing. People had been excused. It was absolutely amazing. Absolutely. Like no. What he did was absolutely amazing. Now, President Trump, he was just Donald Trump then, Mr. Trump, and the host of The Apprentice. For years. Oh yeah. No, he's President Donald John Trump. But for years, people were asking for Barack Obama's birth certificate, which he never produced. And President Trump started talking about it. And then what happened? Barack Obama produced for the first time a birth certificate. And he even had a press conference producing a birth certificate. Donald Trump got him to do that. That's pretty amazing.
He didn't have to.
But that's not a policy. I asked you for a policy of his during his first term, or one he's proposing for his second term, that you oppose and is bad for America. You still haven't done that.
Klan or what?
What?
Was Trump's father in the Klan?
No. But I don't know why sins of the father and what a father was or wasn't has anything to do with a man. O.J. Simpson's a double murderer, but his children aren't killers. No, his father was not in the Klan. Donald Trump's father was not in the Klan. So you can't think of a single policy of President Trump's that you oppose. You just have to go back to these talking points that aren't true.
And you keep talking over me, you won't know.
Well, give me the policy right now.
Okay. How about the housing policy where he was discriminating against people? How about the fact?
No, first off, that's not a policy of his first term or one he's proposing for the second term. And that was an allegation about housing discrimination in the Trump organization that was not true. So can you think of I'm going to ask you again. Yeah, I'm just letting you dangle out there. Yeah, I'm not getting you off the hook that easy. Name a policy that President Trump brought us in his first term, or one he's proposing in 2024 in his second, that you are opposed to, that's bad for America.
Well, first of all, he ain't getting nowhere in 2020.
So you can't think of a single Trump policy.
I just told you a few of them. You're just too...
No. You're going over liberal lying talking points from Rachel Maddow and Joy Reid. You can't think of one thing he's done as president or he's proposing for his second term that you're opposed to.
He ain't getting in there.
He was in there for 4 years, okay? So tell me something he did in his first term, in those 4 years, a policy that you are opposed to that's bad for this country.
Well, he was separating kids from their parents.
No, he was not. People were coming across, by the way, that was an Obama policy, but people would come across the border, adults with children that they would claim were their children. And what President Trump would do is determine whether or not they were their children or not, and then bring them back together. You have to separate the kids. My daughter, when she was a little girl in elementary school, excuse me, yes, my daughter, she's trying to get hung up on again. Going to talk about my wife, now my daughter. My daughter's black, and when she was a little girl, I'd pick her up from school early and sign her out. If there was somebody new in the office that didn't know me, before they would let her leave with me, they would ask her, "Who's that white man picking you up, black girl?" Yeah, they'd ask her. She'd say, "That's my daddy." And then they say, "Okay," and then that was it. President Trump didn't separate parents from children. That's a lie.
Her husband.
So you're telling me that when someone comes across the border with a child, you should do no investigation to find out if they're really the parent? None of your business. When they're entering the United States, it's none of their business at the border who they are and who they're with. Really?
Really?
Okay. Well, listen, you're in luck because I'm up against a break, and finally, you're going to get off the hook. because we're up against a break. Oh, my goodness, that was pathetic. He couldn't think of a single policy of President Trump's that he was opposed to. All right, we'll be right back.
The cold, hard truth. Delivered mornings 6 to 9 right here on The Steve Kane Show.
Wow. He was doing everything he could do to get hung up on, wasn't he? By the way, there's over 1,100 in the live stream right now, and only a little more than 300 have liked the video so far. So please take this opportunity to like the video. Liking the video tells the YouTube algorithm to recommend this video and my other videos to people that have not yet found my channel. What's going on out there? Hold on. What was that? Oh, I thought you locked yourself out or something. Okay. Oh. Oh, okay. Oh, my goodness. These callers are hilarious. Hilarious.
Reserve your spot. That's 561-779-7073.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Renee was trying to do everything he could do to get hung up on. Everything. Oh, that's awesome. Very much brainwashed, Renee from Harlem. Exactly.
Hi, this is Keith Singer of Singer Wealth. If you own a retirement account, not only do you need to make smart investment choices, you need to make smart tax choices as well. The IRS is waiting to collect a part of that account, and you can minimize.
Just looking over a couple articles.
The right strategies. To learn about these strategies to reduce taxes on your IRA account, text the word tax report to 474747. Text the word tax report to 474747 so you and your family can keep as much of your IRA as possible.
This is Lori Kane. When people go to the dentist, they think of the pain, but the biggest pain is the cost. Not with Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental Care. The dental work is painless, and the prices are painless too. Call today, 954-922-4633. 954-922-4633. That's 954-922-4633. BrightonDentalCare.com.
All right. All right. Welcome back, everyone. Boy, Renee from Harlem. Oh, boy. You know, I love it. He was doing everything he could do to get me to hang up on him, but it didn't work. It didn't work. Oh, man. Our number 1-888-GO-CANE-1. You know, I'm very excited to announce this offer that is back, and I'm talking about the Sloman's free home security system and free doorbell camera with professional installation. You guys know I have the doorbell camera, and it's wonderful. You know, when I'm out of town, sometimes I'll go away, or when I was on our listener cruise in the Caribbean a couple months ago with many of you fine listeners out there, it was so nice that I would get a notification anytime there was movement at my door, and anytime I felt like it, I could see what was going on at my front door. And there was one time I got a notification, and my father-in-law was over cleaning out my garage. I called my wife. I said, "What's your dad doing cleaning out?" And she said, "How'd you know?" Well, I got the doorbell camera. So yeah, but listen, to get the free doorbell camera, you have to be one of the 40 first callers today to 1-833-283-5050. That's 833-283-5050. If you're one of the first 40 listeners to call, you'll get a free doorbell camera that connects directly to your cell phone with the installation of your Sloman Shield. And like me, you'll be able to see your home right from the palm of your hands. But that's not all. They're also going to give you a free customized home security system and professional installation when you use their low-cost central station monitoring. So you get an LED touchscreen pad, a motion detector, 3 arm doors, and a backup battery. Plus, if you're one of the first 40 listeners to call 1-833-283-5050, 1-833-283-5050, you'll receive a free doorbell camera with the installation of your Sloman Shield. And also, we have this system in the doorbell camera right here at the radio station. Okay, it's part of our security here at the radio station. 833-283-5050. That's 833-283-5050. Make sure you tell them you heard about them on the radio. All right, guys. Yeah, so this interview last night was spectacular. I almost don't even know where to begin with the clips because they're so powerful. But I want to play this one about the arraignment of Donald Trump by this Soros attorney in New York. And this one, it's one of those, I don't know, is bittersweet the right descriptor for it? I don't know. But it's a sad, when President Trump talked about the indictment and when he had to go to New York and what happened, of course, it's a very sad thing, not just for the president, but for this country. When we have the opposition party arresting presidents of the United States and the nominee of the opposition party, it's hard for me to believe it's even happening. It's like I'm in the bizarro world. But President Trump talked about what happened, and it was very powerful. Listen.
Because I did, well, it was a horrible thing because I did nothing wrong. Absolutely nothing wrong. You look at even the pundits and the legal analysis, Greg Jarrett, all of these really talented people, they're saying he didn't do anything wrong. So that's number one. Number two, they were incredible. When I went to the courthouse, which is also a prison in a sense, they signed me in. And I'll tell you, people were crying. People that work there, professionally work there, that have no problems putting in murderers, and they see everybody. It's tough place. And they were crying. They were actually crying. They said, I'm sorry. They'd say, 2024, sir, 2024. And tears are pouring down their eyes. I've never seen anything like that. Those people are phenomenal. Those are your police. Yeah. Those are the people that work at the courthouse. They're unbelievable people. Many of them were in tears or close to it. Many apologists were sorry, sir. We're sorry. They had to have you do certain things. I said, sir, I can't believe I have to ask you. I can't even believe that I have to ask you to do it. You can see. So in one sense, it was beautiful because they get it. In another sense, it's nasty. I went to the Wharton School of Finance. They didn't teach me about that. That wasn't. That wasn't. We didn't have a class on arraignment. And I'd say it was a sad day in many ways. And in many ways, it was a beautiful day because the people understand. And I didn't know this was happening, but the poll numbers have gone through the roof. The people get it.
Yeah, and the fact that these courthouse jailers were so upset that this was happening, that's like another poll. Right? You get a feel of the pulse of the American people, that even they, who are probably Democrats because they're born and raised in New York City and they work for the city government, so they're probably Democrats, those that work in the courthouse. Most of them have to be because it's New York City. And they were in tears. They were upset over all of this that was happening because they see that we are losing our country. America has fallen. And it's absolutely amazing. I'll play the clip coming up later when President Trump says nothing, even a conviction, would not get him to drop out of the race. It's amazing. I mean, look at what President Trump is going through. Look what he's going through. He doesn't have to go through any of this. If he went to them and made a deal that he'll never run for office again and retire, they might leave him alone. But he's not going to do that. And he's doing it, of course, for us, but he's doing it for the country. If this stands, what does this mean about the future of this country? And, presidents can only pardon federal crimes. And what Bragg is doing is local. So Obviously, there's no case. Obviously, the statute of limitations are up. I love how Bragg, he wants to have all these stops to the statute of limitations. I've never even heard of such a thing before. Have you? The COVID period, statute of limitations stops. He wants to stop. Anytime President Trump was in Florida or outside of New York, the statute of limitations stop. The 4 years he was president, statute of limitations stops. What? I mean, this guy's making his own laws. But because it's a local crime, if God forbid they get a conviction, and you never know, they got this crooked judge. They got a crooked judge who donates to Joe Biden overseeing the case. Can you believe this? The judge's daughter runs a digital marketing firm. She's a partner, an executive of a digital marketing firm that does business with Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, Adam Schiff, Newsom, and who knows what other Democrats. So if the judge makes a ruling, even on a minor motion by the Soros prosecutor, the Democrats will dump his daughter's company. And I'm sure it's many millions of dollars, each one of those deals she has. How can you get a fair trial like that? So we've got a crooked judge and we got a New York jury. So if God forbid they got a conviction in this crooked kangaroo court in New York City, President Trump could not pardon himself. He could only be pardoned, because it's a local crime, by a governor of New York, which will be a Democrat for decades to come. And that's never going to happen. That is scary. But I'm here to tell you that the Uniparty is not giving up. And I've told you guys, I've been talking about this for a long time. What their schemes have been with the January 6th Kangaroo Committee and all of these things, this thing with Bragg, is to use these charges, these phony charges in front of this corrupt judge to keep Trump off the ballot during the primaries. They're going to try to do that. If they do that, we're going to see the first successful write-in candidate nominated. It's going to happen. If he wins the primaries, we know he'll win the primaries, but if they keep him off the ballots, you know, there's an issue there. But if they're not successful in keeping him off the ballots and he wins the primaries and has the delegates, they're going to go for the brokered convention again. Remember, they were talking about that the first time. They're never going to stop. But you know what? He's never going to stop fighting them. Because if they're successful, and he does, we've lost our country. And then we're back in the matrix. You know, this story that came out through Jim Jordan's committee on the weaponization of government, that the FBI has undercover agents infiltrating Catholic churches. I mean, what kind of America is it when the federal government is infiltrating our churches? I mean, you go to Mass on Sunday, your Eucharist minister giving you Holy Communion could be Ray Epps. It's insane. And, you know, Democrats, as we approach the end of the first hour, as we're here till 9, we've had some very good calls today. We had one Democrat, Renee from Harlem. He couldn't do it. But I'm going to keep a line open from now until 9 o'clock for a Democrat or one of these Lincoln Project lowlives to call in and tell us why you are not supporting Donald Trump. When you've seen everything that the establishment has done, when you see that we're being run by a deep state thuggery and a corrupt bureaucracy and politicians that are on the take like Joe Biden and Mitch McConnell and others that are owned by China and God knows who else, that are taking us to war in Ukraine so the big guy can get his 10%, I would like you to call in and tell us one policy of Donald Trump's that you oppose, and I'm not going to vote for him because of this. Renee couldn't do it. He had a bunch of Rachel Maddow talking points and fantasies, but he couldn't do it. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is James from Virginia.
All right, James in Virginia. What's on your mind?
Hey, I just want to make a comment. When you said that people in the courthouse jail were in tears when Trump...
President Trump said that. President Trump said that.
Yeah, I know. But, those people were not directly, Trump did not directly help them. like me. Everything that Trump did was really good for everybody, but not directly for that specific person. Even those people in the
What do you mean? What do you mean? Give me. We only have a minute left, so get cut to the point. I don't want to cut you off, but we're short on time.
I'm a Trump supporter. I'm trying to make a point that look at DeSantis. Trump helped him in 2018, but when he was asked, he did not show any support on Trump. But Trump helped him directly in 2018. But this House people who's in tears, who's feeling for Trump, look at the difference. Why DeSantis is not supporting Trump?
Well, because DeSantis never was with Trump. DeSantis was always with Paul Ryan and the Bushes. He lied. He was fake MAGA. Fake MAGA.
But I'm not. I am a Trump supporter.
Yeah. Hey, listen, thanks for the call. We're up against the break, but don't be a stranger. Call again, and hopefully you'll have more time. It's the Steve Kane Show. Steve will be joining us after the top of the hour. I'm Brian Craig. Our number 1-888-GO-KANE-1, 888-465-2631. Back after this.
WWNN Pompano Beach, WIRK HD3 Indiantown. Programming paid for by the Canales Media Group. Broadcasting from the Robe Studio. Injured recently? Call the Robes Law Group, where winning is a habit. 561-570-5700. 561-570-5700. Robes, winning for you and our community. Your home for the Steve Kane Show. From the Palm Beach Patio Furniture Weather Center, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created, here's the oldies forecast.
Good morning, everybody. Hope your day's off to a great start. We're going to see a daytime high today, only about 80 degrees. It's going to be a washout day with widespread downpours likely throughout. A 50% coverage of that, and at any point you could get wet. So unsettled, not quite as windy, but wind still out of the east. I'm WPBF 25 First Warning meteorologist Sandra Shaw. Weather brought to you by Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Route 1 Seminole Plaza, Johnson, Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Voted in the best patio store in Palm Beach County. PalmBeachPatioFurniture.com, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created.
And now, a true oldies traffic check. Brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club.
Oh, man. Yeah, that was a great interview. Welcome. If you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe, click that notification bell. And everyone, there's over 1,200 in the live stream right now. So take this opportunity to like the video so other people will find this channel. Well, call us up, Gabriel. If you do not support Trump, I want to hear your reasoning why. I really do. I really do. Mm-hmm.
Also, come out April 17th for Lunch with a Legend featuring World Golf Hall of Famer Gary Player. Tickets and info at BBKennelClub.com. Here's your true oldies ABC News update.
She was born in California. Kamala.
Former President Trump. Meanwhile, an attorney for Trump is asking for a 1-month delay to the start of a defamation trial involving Trump. The attorney says there should be a cooling off period after Trump's arrest last week. Calls for gun reforms in the wake of Monday's mass shooting at a bank in Louisville. Dr. Jason Smith is the chief of medicine at the Louisville hospital where 4 of the shooting victims are being treated.
Yeah. No. You know, this guy Gabriel's a troll. He's like fake Trump supporter trying to get people to say stupid things. He's like kind of like the Ray Epps of the chat room here. Oh, I don't have to prove anything. You're proving it yourself. Doesn't matter if you're born in the U.S., you're a natural born citizen. Doesn't matter what your parents are. I'm getting the MAGA scooter back this week. It's repaired. It was actually repaired a few days ago, but it's been raining every day. So, and it's a long way from my house. So I've been waiting to pick it up on a day that it's not raining. That's correct. The belt broke that turns the wheels, but got a tune-up too. All right, hour number 2 has begun. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977, celebrating 46 years on the radio this year. I'm Brian Craig. Steve Kane joining us. Hey, Steve. That's correct.
Pride ourselves on welcoming anybody who is opposition to Donald Trump and wants to tell us why they don't want to vote for him or wouldn't vote for him.
Mm-hmm.
Give you a voice. I know I apologize because it's hard to get through on these phones, but you stick with it and we'll stick with you, and we'll see that every voice is heard.
Yeah, no, Renee from Harlem called in the last hour. He tried to do it, but he was weak. But we're going to keep a line open for the Never Trumper Liberal Loon line. We're going to keep a line open. And I'm going to tell you this, and I do mean this. And you heard a little bit of this with Renee. That interview last night, did you see the interview, Steve, with Tucker? Okay, I got some clips. We'll go through it. But that interview last night was a beautiful interview. And if you do not support Donald Trump, I don't for the life of me understand how you could. Go and watch that interview. But we want to hear today, we want to hear from you, if you're MAGA, of course, and give your thoughts on the interview. But if you are not going to vote for Donald Trump, call and tell us why. And I'm going to do something we don't do very often. You saw this with Renee. Not going to give you what I refer to as the treatment, right? Now Renee brought some things up and I responded. He asked me questions, I responded. But if you notice with Renee, I didn't go after Renee. I pretty much gave him a free ride. The call only ended because we were up against a break. So, and I think you'll go along with this too today, Steve. If you are opposed to Donald Trump, I really got to hear the argument to that, because I don't understand I understand why the Washington people are. They're all corrupt and on the take, okay? But I'm talking about voters. I'd love to hear from a single voter to tell us a policy that Donald Trump brought to us in his first term that you disagree with and was bad for this country, or a policy he's proposing for his second term that you are opposed to that's bad for this country. And I'd love to hear that. Our number 1-888-GO-KANE-1. All right, so I was going to go through some clips, Steve, from the interview. I've watched it twice, and what Tucker Carlson did was fantastic. He would ask a question and then not say anything else and just let Trump talk. That is amazing, okay? And
Trump.
Yeah, most people that interview Trump are too busy trying to impress President Trump, so they keep interjecting. You just let the man talk, and then when he's done, you ask the next question. And that's why this interview was so good. Now, this I pulled off, let's see here, 7 clips from the interview. And this was pretty powerful. And this is when he's talking about what the biggest threat to this country is.
Who's the biggest problem, sir? Is it China? Could it be Russia? Could it be North Korea? No, I said the biggest problem is from within. It's these sick, radical people from within, because we can handle, if we're smart, we can handle Russia, China. I did.
Okay. And what he means by that are these corrupt criminals like Joe Biden, who works for China, like Mitch McConnell, who works for China, that's what he's talking about. In the deep state that have been doing what they've been doing to him since he came down the escalator, and the bureaucracy. That's exactly right. The threat is from within. The enemy within is what he's talking about. It's what it is. That was a Star Trek episode title. But the biggest threat to our country is here. And that was spot on. Good morning. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Conservative Doug.
Oh, hey, Doug.
The more I hear about this, what a mess we're in, man. I mean, this Grant character refuses to go to Congress and is suing.
Wait a minute. This is okay. I'm confused here because I'm under the impression that Peter Navarro and Steve Bannon were arrested for refusing to appear to a congressional committee. How can Bragg get away with doing what got Peter Navarro put in John Hinckley's cell and got Bannon arrested for? Steve Bannon.
I'm telling you, man, corruption, terrible. New York, this guy.
No. Can't they? When there's a congressional committee sends you a subpoena and you refuse to appear, they send federal agents, Capitol Police, to command you to appear and arrest you. So you just can't say I'm not going to go talk to Congress. That's not allowed, even if you work for George Soros, like Bragg.
They can try, I guess. I mean, the DA thinks, oh, the New York City police. But
I'll tell you why he won't go. He won't go because he's afraid. He knows he'll be exposed. Now, I was thinking about this, and I wish Tucker would have asked the president this, because I was curious about this. Maybe this is well known, but Bragg didn't face Trump at all, right? He didn't meet him at the courthouse, and he was not in that arraignment hearing, was he? Now, I want you to think about this. He's a coward. That's right. He's a coward. Bragg, this is supposed to be his big moment in life, guaranteeing him some Democrat corrupt president's going to make him Attorney General of the United States. You would think he would want to be there for the booking of Donald Trump. Why wasn't he there? He's afraid.
Afraid, that's right. Afraid this guy is as corrupt and is ridiculous as I've ever seen. Now they just keep doing things.
Yeah, that's right. Appreciate the call. Yeah, don't worry. I was doing that before. That's Steve's cue to hang up on the caller for me. Yeah. What? Doug was out of material before I said you're on the air. Okay, but he's a nice guy. And if I meant Doug, and he's in shape, man. He works out. He's ripped, built, and toned. He's very big, tough, athletic guy. Our number 1-888-GO-CANE-1. This interview last night with President Trump with Tucker was amazing. And when he was talking about whether or not he would drop out of the race, President Trump's attorney, he was on Brett Baier. It was either the Monday of the indictment or the Tuesday after, but I think it was Monday. President Trump's attorney, who looks like a real tough guy, man. If you ever need an attorney, that guy looks scary. That's who you want, right? And he's a white collar attorney, and he looks so tough and mean. He said any other politician running for office, if they were indicted, would drop out, except Donald Trump, right? And then President Trump was asked by Tucker about that last night.
Is there anything they could throw at you legally that would convince you to drop out of the race? If you get convicted in this case in New York?
No, I'd never drop out. No, I'd never drop. It's not my thing. I wouldn't do it.
Not my thing. I would never drop out. And I think that's the scheme they're running. They're in this Trump derangement bubble in the DC Beltway. That one Capitol policeman that's got the neck tattoo, the blacked out neck tattoo. He works for CNN, and of course Anderson Cooper never asks him what was so outrageous that he had tattooed on his neck that he got a black hat tattoo to cover it. Usually that's what people do when they have like swastika tattoos and things. I don't know what he covered up, but he sure covered up something. And he was on with Anderson Cooper, and they were talking about Trump, and there was a rally coming up, and he lost it. This is the Capitol cop with the neck tattoos. He says, "I don't get it. Outside the Beltway, they love this guy." It was hilarious. They're in this Trump derangement bubble in the DC Beltway, and they just don't understand. They think an indictment will get him to drop out. They really do think that. And every time they're running a scheme to try to stop him, he becomes more and more popular. There's a new poll I'm going to get to after the break, but that's a beautiful poll. They just don't get it. They thought that an indictment, that an arrest, that a trial, that it'd be over. It'd be over. They know they don't have a case. They really don't care about the conviction. They thought they'd like to get it. They thought the indictment would be enough. And look what happened. He shot up into the polls higher than he's ever been before. All right, we'll take our break and be right back.
Don't sit on the sidelines. Get in on the action. Call the Steve Kane Show live on air now.
Oh, man.
K1. This is the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
A sniffle here and a sneeze there. Your first thought is what? Uh-oh, I'm coming down with something. But did you ever think you might not be sick? You might have an allergy. Find out.
Welcome. If you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe. All right. There's over 1,200 in the live stream right now. So make sure you're subscribed and you like the video. Any of you have any favorite parts from that interview? If so, tell me what your favorite part was. Hannity's last interview with him was pretty good because he didn't interrupt Trump too much. He let him talk. I was just about to do that commercial. I'll do the next commercial break. Well, well, his accusers, the people of New York, you don't have to be the head prosecutor. He can send any of his underlings.
Sauces that will make your mouth water. Wings Plus, located in Coral Springs, a mile west of University on the south side of Sandal Road.
Back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM. Harrison Boca on 95.3 FM. Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM. And anywhere in the world at TrueOldiesFLA.com.
Yes, he was. He was there. All right, welcome back. I'm Brian. Steve is here. You know, yesterday I got a call on the air from a very nice listener. And, you know, it's been raining all week. Raining, and it's been windy. I know it's not hurricane season yet, but it seems like it to me. And it's been raining constantly. She had a wet spot on her ceiling. She called Tom Laporta, and he had his guys out there right away. I mean, he responds so fast. He's almost as fast as a first responder. Yeah, and of course, she just needs a simple roof repair, you know, and it's absolutely amazing. You know, you see a wet spot on your ceiling, you've got a leak in your roof, and you know, if you let that go, the leak gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and then you're going to need a whole new roof. Tom Laporta at Laporta Contracting will never sell you a roof you do not need, and I'm here to tell you, no other roofer have I ever heard make such a claim. I will never sell you a roof you do not need. That's all they want to do is sell you roofs, and I've been through this. I've called before we knew Tom years ago after a hurricane. I called to get a roof repair company after. Oh, we don't do repairs. We just do new roofs. But I don't need a new roof. I need a repair. Well, Tom Laporta, he covers the entire state of Florida, by the way. He works on every kind of structure, single-family homes, condos, HOAs, municipal buildings, churches, whatever type of structure it is. Tom Laporta can handle the roof for you. And he works with every type of roofing material as well. Now, the number I'm going to give you rings directly to Tom Laporta's cell phone. He's a good MAGA guy, and you're going to like him a lot. Okay, his website is laportacontracting.com, but call Tom on his cell phone, 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. That's 954-604-4602. You know, when I was listening to President Trump, Steve, with Tucker last night, I didn't realize how close to nuclear war we really were. He talked about that a lot, and it's scary. Yeah. It is. It is terrifying. Well, let me play this clip of the interview when he talks about it a little bit, and then we'll talk.
Afraid of nuclear. I said, you know, you got to be a little bit cooler than that. But what happened is now that nobody talks about it, but every day Putin mentions it, and every day other people mention it, and now all of a sudden, if you look, other countries are talking about getting it. This was something you don't mention. I call it the N word. You have two N words. You don't mention either one of them. The nuclear word you don't mention because the power is so destructive. I met with professors at MIT, and I was preparing for a debate. I wouldn't say it was a long preparation, but I did want to talk about nuclear because I consider it to be the single greatest threat the world has, far greater than global warming. Like, not even a contest. And I had these people come down who were very smart, very expert, and I said, so when we start talking about nuclear in a debate, how would you handle it? And they looked at me, one in particular, and said, sir, you can't talk about it. You cannot talk about it. I said, what does that mean? He said, it is so massive, it is so destructive that you cannot talk about it. I understood exactly what he meant. And we stayed away from it for the most part. But now Putin's mentioning it all the time. We don't mention it, but Putin's always mentioning it.
Yeah. Okay. So he was talking in particular about Ukraine. And, you know, this is a couple of things people have to understand. Okay. When President Trump is talking about foreign policy, this is a well-informed, educated opinion and educated, informed analysis because one, he was president of the United States and he knows our capabilities, their capabilities, and he knows the players, right?
In the presidential seat
Mm-hmm.
is going to not push the button.
That's correct. That's correct. That's right. And he also, because he was president and will be again, the people around him, like himself, still get security briefings and know what's going on. And I have not heard a president talk about nuclear war in such a serious way since the Reagan days, right? After the Reagan administration, we didn't hear about nuclear war again. Now it's back. And what he was talking about in particular was he was talking about China, but he was mostly, when it came to nuclear, was talking about Putin. And you know, there's a lot of talk about regime change, getting rid of Putin, and if they're on the ropes. And he was talking about if Putin gets pushed up against the wall, he very well will use nuclear weapons on Ukraine. And you know, that area of Europe is so small that I don't know which way the winds blow. Okay. But those winds could blow that nuclear fallout into Poland, and that would be considered an attack on Poland because it would be, you know, a nuclear winter going over Poland, such a small area, and we don't even want to know where it would go. You need a serious person, not, yeah.
Stuff going on in the nuclear secrets flying, and the government totally out of control. I mean, it's terrifying.
Yeah.
To think what would happen if push came to shove and there was a crisis. Who do you want representing us? Who do you want to have the finger, the control on the button?
Yeah.
I mean, can you imagine? Imagine Biden in control at a moment like that,
or Willie Brown's girlfriend, Kamala Harris. And you know what he's talking about here is the current policy. Biden does everything he does to make money. He wants to make sure that his degenerate family, which extends beyond his immediate family and to his siblings and everything, have enough money to pay for their drugs, hookers, and disgusting lives forever. So what Biden is doing is escalating things with Putin in Ukraine. There hasn't been a single summit meeting. You know, back in the days of Reagan, how many summit meetings did Reagan have with Gorbachev? You know, even during the Cuban Missile Crisis, there were talks between the White House and Khrushchev. Okay, and Biden has said they won't talk. And the reason he doesn't want to de-escalate in Ukraine, Biden, is because de-escalation he doesn't get paid. Okay, and he wants an escalation because that means more government spending. Things need to, it is reckless, dangerous, and irresponsible, and maybe those words mean all the same thing, but it's all of those things and more, not to have a sit down meeting with Putin and say, what can we do to cool things off? How can we end this? As opposed to, full steam ahead.
The itinerary when he is flying to Ireland.
Yeah.
Always with you know who's always with him on the plane?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right-handed man, Hunter. Does that fill you with confidence as you sit here waiting for news bulletins about the demise of the world?
Yeah, and you know what I'd be curious for the press to do. Everyone's talking about Hunter, Hunter, Hunter. They're saying they better keep the beer away. From what about the hookers and the drugs in Ireland? Okay, keep those away. I'd like to know how much luggage he comes back with, as opposed to what he went with, and what's in the luggage he comes back with. It'll be very heavy, and lots of cash probably. That's Hunter Biden. That's why he's over there. Remember, he's the money launderer for Joe Biden. That's right, literally. But and there's no customs on Air Force One. Anybody think that Hunter's going to do illegal drugs on Air Force One on this trip? What do you think? No customs, of course. But what Trump was talking about, he talked about it with China and Putin, but he told Putin, if you go into Ukraine, he told him very specifically, a terrible thing would happen. Our response, he wouldn't tell Tucker what it was, but Putin believed him enough to not move. They're not afraid of us anymore. And there needs to be a de-escalation, not an escalation of the conflict with Russia and Ukraine. And Donald Trump's the only person who wants to do it, okay? And certainly the only person that can do it. We're coming up on our bottom of the hour break. We'll get back to the Trump interview last night on Tucker when we get back, and your calls. Those of you that saw that interview last night, I'm very interested in hearing your thoughts, your analysis, and your takeaways too. You don't have to, you don't have to disagree with Trump. I don't think there's anybody in the audience that really disagrees. Renee tried; he couldn't even disagree. I gave him so many opportunities. But you can be MAGA and call too. I want to hear your thoughts and analysis on that interview last night. I thought it was one of Trump's best interviews, and of course, very timely. Our number toll free 1-888-GO-CANE-1. 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. You're listening to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 46 years on the radio this year. This is where MAGA comes to talk. If you miss a part of the show, or maybe you want to hear your call and save your call, about an hour after we sign off the air every day, our entire show is uploaded to the radio station website, trueoldiesfla.com. Trueoldiesfla.com. It's uploaded and archived there forever. So if you miss a show, you can catch it at trueoldiesfla.com. I'm Brian Craig. Steve Kane's here. We'll take our bottom of the hour break and be right back.
Making morning radio great again.
I think you're going to really love it.
Rock and roll hits of the 60s and 70s.
Oh, scared me.
From the Palm Beach Patio Furniture Weather Center, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created, here's the oldies forecast.
Good morning, everybody. Hope your day's off to a great start. We're going to see a daytime high today, only about 80 degrees. It's going to be a washout day with widespread downpours likely throughout, a 50% coverage of that, and at any point you could get wet. So still unsettled, not quite as windy, but wind still out of the east. I'm WTV App 25 First Warning meteorologist Sandra Shaw. Weather brought to you by Palm Beach Patio Furniture.
I'm just reading over a couple articles we're going to talk about after the break.
Voted in the best of the best patio store in Palm Beach County, PalmBeachPatioFurniture.com, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created.
And now, a True Oldies traffic check, brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club. Traffic
because you're getting older doesn't mean you're not old. This is Brian Craig, and I want to tell you about my anti-aging company, Dr. Mitch Matez at the Bio Station West LA, and hormone replacement pellet therapy. Hormone replacement pellet therapy is all natural. What it does is restore your hormones where they were.
Oh man, this new poll, Trump is 33 points ahead of DeSantis in the new Morning Consult poll. And this is a good one because they only polled Republicans. Since we got a primary, that's at 33 points ahead. Is that amazing? I'd like to see a poll of Republican voters just in Florida to see how far Trump's ahead of DeSantis in Florida. I'm talk about this when we get back. It's insane.
561-320-8893. If you're a homeowner, business owner, or with a homeowners association and your roof is old or compromised, you need to call Tom Laporta at Laporta Contracting. Tom Laporta will give you a free evaluation. Laporta Contracting was voted one of the best general contractor and best roofers in South Florida. He's honest, knowledgeable, and reliable, and will never sell you a roof you don't need. If you have an insurance claim, call your
I'm going to go through this poll when we get back.
Then call Tom Laporta. New laws are in effect that allow Tom to negotiate directly with your insurance company on the cost of all repairs, so you don't necessarily need to employ a public adjuster or a lawyer. Tom can handle any type of roofing job too: residential roofing and repair, commercial roofs, schools, municipal buildings, office buildings, emergency repairs. If it's roofing, Tom Laporta can do it. Call Tom Laporta right now, 954-604-4602, 954-604-4602, and online, laportacontracting.com.
Welcome if you're new. This is our bottom of the hour break. We'll be back shortly. Take some more calls, and we're talking about this great interview the president gave last night. Make sure you guys are subscribed if you're new, and everyone, please like the video. There's over 1,200 in the live stream right now, and less than half of you have liked the video. So make sure you like the video. That helps grow the channel. This is a new commercial. I haven't heard it yet.
I don't have time to spend hours in the doctor's office or waiting hours in one of those big labs. That's why I go to any lab test now in Boca and any lab test now at Coral Springs for all of my lab work. Their techs are highly skilled and professional, and their prices are guaranteed to be the lowest on lab work you'll find anywhere. Appointments aren't necessary. Doctor's orders and prescriptions, they're not needed either. I'm in and out in 15 minutes or less. I get the results the next day in my email box, and they also send it to my doctor. There's lots of any lab test nows around, but these are the only two advertising on our radio station. So don't use the rest. Only go to any lab test now in Boca and any lab test now of Coral Springs. Any lab test now in Boca is in the Sandalfoot Plaza. It's where the Western Beef is, between Palmetto Park Road and Hillsborough Boulevard on the east side of State Road 7, 441. Any lab test now of Coral Springs.
What about Bud Light? Will you serve Bud Light in your bar?
By the Coral Square Mall. Call any lab test now of Boca at 561-237-5009. Any lab test now at Coral Springs number is 954-906-5983. And don't forget to mention that you heard about them on the radio.
Now back to the Steve Kane Show, celebrating 45 years on the air.
All right, we're back. I'm Brian. Steve Kane is here. There's a new poll out, Trump versus DeSantis, and I'm going to go through it in just a moment here. But yeah,
Quick here, we always have an open line on the opposition.
Yep.
We do.
Mm-hmm.
For those who disagree with our position,
Yeah.
who want to take issue with
Yeah.
so Donald Trump, that is always open for you. So
Yeah.
feel free to use it.
Yeah. That's true. That's true. But, we've had one attempt so far today, Renee from Harlem. Ron DeSantis, there's a new poll, and it's DeSantis versus Trump. And, Ron DeSantis, in the last segment, we're talking about what Trump's going to have to face in his second term, right? China and Putin. DeSantis just was destroyed by Mickey Mouse, okay? And in a very humiliating defeat. And they did it, the way he was defeated by Disney He didn't take over the Disney governing district. They maintained it, and they put in a provision to maintain it forever on the eve of the switchover, and they're done. DeSantis lost to Mickey Mouse. How's he going to go up against Putin, Kim Jong-un, China, if he can't win against Walt Disney World? It's embarrassing, really. So there's a new poll. This is a very good poll because first we got to get through the primary process, okay? So when we're talking about primaries, the only people you are worried about in a poll as you're approaching a primary are Republicans right now. What are Republicans thinking when it comes to Trump versus DeSantis, right? In the latest Morning Consult poll, which was published yesterday, of just Republican voters, President Trump has a 33-point lead over Ron DeSantis. 33-point lead, yes, 56 to 23. 33-point lead. This is after the indictment, and this is only Republicans. And that's, I mean, he's not even a credible candidate. He's a joke. He's like the Prohibition Party candidate or Communist Party USA. They all libertarians. They always have candidates. They're hopeless. This is pathetic. He should be embarrassed. At 33-point lead by President Trump in the latest Morning Consult poll. That's huge, man. It's insane. And I'll tell you, I just think Ron DeSantis, they must be hiding his cell phone from him so he can't see the news. Because the way that he's behaving, I just don't think Ron DeSantis knows how bad it's been. What I would really like to see a poll done of Republican Florida voters, Trump versus DeSantis, and see how far Trump is ahead in that poll. Because about a week and a half ago, we had a DeSantis guy, Bob Reich, call in, and that was before the indictment, Steve, and we haven't heard from Bob Reich since. And I'm waiting. The silence is an admission that we're right. But when's the last time we've heard from a DeSantis supporter? In fact, every Republican, when this comes up, I ask them their thoughts on DeSantis, Florida callers, and that I haven't had one Florida caller except Bob Reich say that they were going to vote for DeSantis, and we haven't heard from him since the indictment. So even maybe he's woken up. But 33-point lead in the latest poll, Donald Trump 33 points ahead of Ron DeSantis. That's amazing, Steve. This is not how they thought it would be.
So this is going to go with the last time where the front runner, the runner-up to Trump.
Yeah.
Will there'll be a new one every week or every new primary, and they'll just keep falling one at a time until there's no one left standing except Donald Trump.
Yeah, yesterday I was doing something I really don't like to do, but I did it. I watched a little bit of Neil Cavuto. I don't like Neil Cavuto. He hates Trump. He's a jerk, and he had.
He's a good host.
Nah, he sucks, and he had Karl Rove on. Well, he had Karl. Well, this is an example of how bad Cavuto is. He had Karl Rove on, who, of course, slipped about 2 weeks ago. Karl Rove was on with Dana Perino, who's, of course, worked for President Bush, and maybe she still does. But anyway, Karl Rove was on with Dana Perino, and he referred to Ron DeSantis' presidential campaign as our campaign. He slipped. It was on live TV. He said our campaign, which tells you that he's running the campaign of DeSantis, which if there is a campaign, they're breaking the law. It's against Florida law. But anyway, I heard him on Cavuto, Karl Rove, talking about how badly Trump did in the last election. We won back the House of Representatives. We fired Pelosi. The House of Representatives is controlled by MAGA Republicans. And that's it. I mean, I would like to have more seats, but I don't care. We won. And Neil Cavuto was going along this whole interview with Karl Rove with the impression that somehow we did not win back the House of Representatives.
Election of those Karl Rove advisors.
Yes.
That are working for the opposition.
Mm-hmm.
Trump.
DeSantis in particular.
They're going to, take their little chucky and all that kind of stuff, and then they'll wake up like last time.
That's right.
And all of a sudden, there's no one left standing but Trump. They'll yield to to the inevitable.
Yeah. All right. Let's take some calls. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Bob Wright here.
Oh, speak of the devil.
I'm starting to wonder if you're my friends because I want to tell you. Okay,
We're gonna get you through this delusional period that you're going through.
Steve,
That's what friends are for.
please,
We stand with you.
Steve, you're not talking to the moron callers that you make mincemeat out of. Let me just say something.
Wow.
First, I was going to say
Insulting our
something
audience.
very nice, which I will afterwards. First of all, I've been for Donald Trump since he first talked in Boca, like who knows how many years ago. Merely because Brian said Trump took Merv Griffin. I called it to his attention that he didn't take Merv.
And then oh my gosh, you talk about living and someone called in right after and said President Trump made over 400 million on that deal.
Oh, 400,000, they said.
Million.
No. What happened is, if you can look it up yourself.
Who cares about 87, Bob? We're talking about now.
Brian, you made a statement.
He's yelling.
I want to correct.
Oh my goodness.
Give me the person.
Come on, Brian. Give Bob a chance.
Okay.
Brian, Trump overpaid, and then he made his money because his partners bought him out because the casinos were losing money and they didn't want him running them.
Okay.
That being said, and check it out, but that being said, I love Trump.
Oh yeah, I can tell.
What you started to do
Does it sound like he loves Trump?
Was the minute I corrected anything that Trump wasn't perfect, you started yelling at me.
Well, first off, I don't yell at callers. But can we talk about the 21st century?
Just let Bob. Let me clear this up for you, Bob. Let Robert talk. He's a friend of the show. He's a long time Steve Kane listener. He wants to clear the deck, which means that when we get to the end of the call, he's going to admit that if he had somebody running a business, he would like it to be Trump. So give him a chance to back out gracefully here.
Okay.
Go ahead, Robert.
Steve, you're starting to sound bad too. Let me tell you something. I want Trump as president. I want Trump as president.
I know you do. That's what I'm trying to tell Brian.
So stop, because I merely called one error that he made to Brian's attention. Brian took off on me, and then on top of it, he started going with that stuff about, oh, you mean, like he does with Al, like as if I said I stepped on my dog, and he said, oh, you mean you hate dogs? That really triggered me.
So the main thing is you like Trump is the bottom line of this.
I love Trump.
I can tell.
So why are we fighting? Why are we bickering?
Because you guys talked about me being triggered and all that. It had nothing to do with Trump.
Brian's a bit of a smart ass. You know that.
I think he's a bit of a smart ass once in a while. So anyway, let me say something else. Yes, I suppose so. To some, no, I like Brian, of course.
Yeah, just like he likes Trump.
I had a pain in my side or my sciatic, and I got to tell you, that cold laser therapy was phenomenal with
Dr. Appleton, my chiropractor.
Yes, really phenomenal. I went about 4 times.
There you go.
I may not be 100%, but I'm about 90%, and that was something nobody.
Mm-hmm.
So he really is a wonder, and he's a terrific guy.
Welcome home, Bob. Welcome.
All right. Well, we're up against the break, so we're up against the break. So you now you support Trump over Ron DeSantis. All right, Bob. Okay, that was a total retraction and reversal, and we'll let him do it gracefully. Steve, I am being nice, but I don't have to get down on my knees like Biden when he's meeting with BLM. I mean, my gosh, he's not that great of a caller to suck up to that much.
You have to learn to be nice to people.
Steve, I am nice, but I'm not going to bow down on my knees like Biden to BLM when they come over, just because, he did a retraction. But But he did give me an opportunity. He had some problems with his nerves. He went and saw my chiropractor, Dr. Philip Appleton, which is that's a big olive branch because he's saying the complimentary thing about our sponsor. I want to give out Dr. Appleton's number. He's a chiropractic physician, and he can do for you what he's done for me 3 times now. What he's done for Bob Reich, that is, well, give you a pain-free life. It's always walk-ins are welcome at Dr. Appleton's Monday through Saturday. I walked in right at the end of the day on Friday, didn't even call ahead, and he saw me. And he'll see you too. Appointments are not necessary. You can find Dr. Appleton online at appletonchiro.com or give him a call, 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. We'll be right back.
The cold, hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on The Steve Kane Show.
Scott here from CutMyKilowatts.com. We are an energy saving and insulation company. Make your home energy efficient, cut your electric bills up to 50%, and pay little or even nothing for the repairs. Make sure you get your fair share of the Inflation Reduction Act. Rebates up to $14,000 per year. Funds available on a first-come, first-served
Oh, my
basis.
goodness.
Rebate programs for low to moderate income families up to $150,000 of income. $14,000 per year. This is huge. You can use this money for insulation and radiant barriers, up to $2,800 available. Hybrid hot water heaters, up to $3,750 available. AC units, up to $10,000 available. Electric panel upgrades, up to $6,600. And after we reduce your home consumption by 35%,
Exactly.
you get additional rebate.
Well, Bob is an old friend of Steve, so Steve's giving him a pass because they're friends off the air. That's all. But I'm not going to kiss some guy's ass because he calls the show. That's not me. But him and Steve are been friends for years. So, you know. So you give him a little bit of a free. But that was as much as a concession you're going to get out of Bob.
For details, call Proper Grit at 561-461-0040. Use your points for future hotel stays anywhere in the Marriott system or towards various airline programs. We'll see you at the bed.
Hello, this is Mike at Friendly Tire. I've been in business 30 years at the same location and offering great deals on new and used tires. I have many suppliers. Whatever car or truck you have, I get you incredible deals on any tire. I also do tire repairs at very low prices. Give me a call. My number is 954-977-9445. I will give you a price.
That's not true, unfortunately. Don't let these birther fake MAGA people trigger you guys. Okay, we got a bunch of Ray Epps types in the chat today.
Now the Steve Kane Show.
All right, callers on hold, stand by. I'm Brian. Steve Kane is here. It's the Steve Kane Show. I want to take a moment to talk about the Thomas Edison of sleep, the inventor of the MyPillow, and of course Mike Lindell. You know, when Thomas Edison discovered that filament that gave us that first long-lasting light bulb, he didn't stop there, right? He improved on lighting and everything else, and he electrified New York City, right? He didn't just stop at that little light bulb. And Mike Lindell has been doing, Steve, some major improvements to his signature inventions, all right? I've been talking a lot about the MyPillow 2.0 with cooling technology. You'll never flip your pillow over again because it's hot at night. Never happen again. And it's buy one, get one free with our promo code Kane. But he's also upgraded his MyPillow 3-inch mattress topper. Now, my wife and I have had the 3-inch MyPillow mattress topper for 2 years this month. It's a life changer. You know, that mattress topper turns your whole mattress into a big MyPillow. And he's upgraded it, Steve. The MyPillow 3-inch mattress topper now has cooling technology. And as we're getting into the hot months of the year, oh man, it's already here in Florida. It'll keep your body the perfect temperature all night long. It's a great companion to that MyPillow 2.0 with the cooling technology. The MyPillow 3-inch mattress topper 2.0 is available in every mattress size. And it's 40% off and free shipping with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. You can also order by phone, 1-800-716-4879, 1-800-716-4879, promo code Kane. And remember, you can take advantage of all the specials at mypillow.com with our promo code Kane, Kane, not just the ones I highlight. Okay, we'll go back to our very, very busy phones. And of course, we're talking about this just incredible interview that President Trump gave to Tucker Carlson that we all watched last night, which was a spectacular interview. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, good morning, Brian. It's Lisa in Texas.
Hey, Lisa.
And hi, Steve. How you doing?
Good. How about you?
Oh, well, fantastic after that awesome interview with our great president last night. My husband and I were watching it, and I mean, the way that not just that he conducted himself, but I'm really proud of
I'm a very
the
nice
way
person.
Tucker conducted himself. He was very serious, and there was no like he wasn't trying to keep all the attention on him, kind of like Hannity does sometimes.
Yeah.
I was really pleased, as was my husband, and he talked about serious stuff. And Tucker, I think, was incredibly impressed with what he talked about. I mean, like he said at the beginning of the interview, we went there to talk about his indictment, but we got on to all kinds of other stuff. And the tone that President Trump had about, like, how smart do you think Xi is? And he's like, well, if you went through Hollywood, there's nobody who could play him because there's nobody smart enough, because the man is, top line. He's top of the line. And he made that very clear how smart all these other leaders are and how not so smart ours is. And how,
Well, the difference between their leaders and our leaders isn't just an IQ problem. Our leaders are all corrupt. They're all on the take. What we have running this country with Biden and Mitch McConnell and all the, this is like Chicago during the Capone era when he owned all. Remember in The Godfather when he's meeting with the guy that wants to bring heroin to New York, and he's like, "Yeah, we got the judges, we got the police. That's what we got. That's what we got." Don Corleone. We got the president, we got the senators, we got them all. They're just all corrupt public officials.
And they're laughing at us, those guys, because they respected Trump and they know what a bunch of yahoos these other guys are. And just one other point I wanted to make was you're talking about DeSantis and all that jive. Well, the other day, and I didn't listen to him long because I really dislike Brian Kilmeade, but he was on that little radio show. That's fine. You can. It's a free country for the moment. And but Brian Kilmeade was bragging about how big the war chest is for Governor DeSantis. And what's Trump going to talk about? Is he just going to keep name calling? When's he going to talk about his plans? Well, if Brian had been paying attention, Trump has been talking about all of his plans. And the things that he's.
Well, I really want to see a debate between Trump and DeSantis when Trump talks to him about getting whipped by Mickey Mouse. How's he going to take on Putin? But the thing about DeSantis and this campaign war chest, this is what's going on here. Okay. I'm here to tell you, Ron DeSantis is unelectable forever. He cannot recover from this. So what the others are doing. Yeah.
At a crucial moment, he didn't back Trump, and he revealed himself as basically being this.
Yeah, and that's true. And DeSantis is going to continue to raise money from these Never Trumper, Lincoln Project, Karl Rove, Paul Ryan snakes. Okay, but what they're doing is they never give up fighting Trump. They never give up fighting Trump. And so he's going to be there opposing Trump for this whole thing. And it's going to be beautiful because if Ron DeSantis doesn't drop out, we're going to have televised debates on all the networks. Ron DeSantis is going to look worse than Admiral Stockdale did. And Donald Trump is going to clean his clock, and it's going to be beautiful to watch.
Yeah, there's an old military saying that I can't repeat on air, but yeah.
FUBAR. Well, what does if you're Ron DeSantis and Donald Trump says this, you got beat by Mickey Mouse, how are you going to take on Putin? What does DeSantis say?
Yeah, he has nothing to say. He's
Yeah.
a debater.
And I saw an interview on him with him over the weekend that he gave somewhere out of state on his fake presidential campaign tour disguised as a book tour, which is illegal. He said they asked him about Disney, and he says, well, we're going to put tolls on the roads to Disney, and we're going to increase the taxes on their hotels. Well, that doesn't affect Disney. That affects Floridians who drive on those roads and tourists. That's so weak.
And did you see how frustrated he looked when they asked him that?
Mm-hmm.
That too. Yeah. He didn't have a good comeback. And the ad that Trump is running, those people are running, where it sounds like it's a commencement speech that Trump is saying, never give up.
Yeah.
He will never give up, and that's why I love him. Anyway, I better let you go.
All right, take care. Oh, did you watch the Tucker Carlson interview with Trump live, Steve, last night?
Yes.
I was laying in bed watching with my wife, and then I heard something I have not heard in a long time. The voice of Rush Limbaugh. And it was, oh my God. And it was, I got goosebumps. It was clips of him from his show promoting that book that his wife's released. And man, it was beautiful. And he's so positive. It was nice to hear Rush again, even in that little snippet in the commercial, right? All right, listen, there is only one opening on our board, and that's saying a lot because the radio station added a whole bunch of new lines a few weeks ago. We have more lines. I'm not exaggerating or kidding. We have more lines than I have seen in any radio station I've ever worked at coming into the studio. Oh, I thought you were going to say the perv line. That's where the Dalai Lama would call in, I guess, right? Oh, my goodness. Did you see the Dalai Lama ask that little boy to suck his tongue?
And it took me by surprise. It kind of.
No, yeah, I know. And the boy did it, apparently. Oh, I spoke too soon. Every line on the board is lit. So if you're on hold, I'm going to try to get to the calls in the order in which they were received.
Positional line.
Yeah, the oppositional line. Okay. All right. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, good morning. This is Barbara in Baltimore. You and Steve.
Hey, Barbara.
Hey, I just wanted to give you, you asked about the poll, and I've got three of them. Trafalgar has Trump 56, DeSantis 23. Fabrizio has Trump at 51, DeSantis 21. And YouGov has Trump at 52 and DeSantis at 21. I just wanted to share that with you, and also.
So Trump is at. I haven't done the math in my head. I'd have to get pencil and paper, but Trump is averaging about 31 to 35 points ahead of DeSantis.
Your head math is absolutely excellent.
Yeah.
It's from 13 plus 31 to 33. And I think it's wonderful. You have a fantastic show, and you are single-handedly getting so much done because I follow you. I get notified every time you do a short. And what you're doing is fantastic.
Great.
I wanted to share also about the Merv Griffith deal. The caller, yes, I gave it, and I'm going to give him the date of the New York Times article, and it is April the 18th of 1988, and it was $4 million that Donald Trump.
$4 million. Okay, I was right. So in a deal that Bob Reich says Trump lost to Merv Griffin, the president made $400 million. If that's losing, I'll lose all day long.
And I called you after you called it. It was one of the first times I think that I called you. But I'm looking at it right now. It says this is.
Could you DM me that on Twitter so I can rub it or share it with Bob next time he calls?
Okay, I'll try to do. Yeah, I'm on Twitter, but I'll do that. It's on my Twitter. I'm Bob22.
Okay, well, tweet it and tag me. Brian Craig Show on Twitter. Tweet it and tag me, and then next time Bob calls, I'll rub it in his, or I'll share it with Bob next time he calls.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Always is great. I just also wanted to say, I think that Ron DeSantis has definitely shown us that he's not ready for prime time However, I do believe that his strong personality and he is committed to the things that he's committed to. And I think maybe a little stint as vice president might get him.
Did I tell on the air what happened to me with Ron DeSantis at Wings Plus when we were there with him the week of the election? Did I tell you this? Oh, this was hilarious. But I don't have time to tell you now because we're up against a break. I'll tell it in the next hour. This isn't a tease. This is not a purposeful tease. All right, take care. There's only one opening on the board, and a very funny thing happened with me and Governor DeSantis at Wings Plus in Coral Springs. We were there with him a couple days before the election this last time. It's the Steve Kane Show. Steve Kane, of course, is here. My name is Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk, the longest-running radio show in the state of Florida, the Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. That's right, celebrating 46 years on the radio this year. I'm Brian Craig. We'll be back after this.
WWNN Pompano Beach, WIRK HD3 Indiantown. Programming paid for by Vic Canales.
Yeah, what happened, I'll tell everybody on the radio. I was making a YouTube video, and I was inside the restaurant with all the donors. These donors paid minimum $500 a person to be in the room, and I got in for free, of course, right? But so everybody, I'm making a YouTube video. Everyone stands up when Ron DeSantis comes in, and he has a microphone, and I'm filming, and I'm looking for, and I hear him talking, and there's people everywhere, and I can tell because I can hear his real voice too, not just the microphone. He's like right in front of me, and I can't. I'm looking. I can't find him. I was looking too high, and he's I'm not tall. I'm only 5'7", okay? But there has not been a president under 6 foot tall since television. Yeah, there's not been a president under 6 foot tall since television has existed. If you look online, they'll say Ronald Reagan was 5'11 and a half. He was 6 foot. Okay, he shrunk a little bit in his 8 years because of his age. But you can't be a president that's because when you get on the debate stage, you look like a jockey. I mean, you put him up there with Gavin Newsom, he's going to look like a jockey. Yeah. But I got to tell that on the radio, what I just told you guys. You guys got the preview. Yes, he was. Look him up. A lot of stuff you read online about Republicans will be lies because they hate Nixon and Reagan. But no, there's not been a president under 6 foot. He was 6 foot. I just looked it up. Richard Nixon, 6 foot. Ronald Reagan, 6'1". He's about 5'7" and a half. It's hard to tell because he wears high heels. He wears cowboy boots with high heels on them. So,
What you need before you need it. That's how it feels when you work with Cintas. With dedicated Cintas service reps, get to know your business.
oh yeah. I've met George Bush. He's pretty tall.
They'll deliver your team's workwear freshly laundered. Make sure your first aid and safety supplies, mats, mops, and towels are stocked.
6 foot. HW 6'2". GW 6 foot. Obama 6'2".
Get ready for the workday.
You get a doorbell camera. You get a doorbell camera. And you get a doorbell camera. Wish I had them for everyone, but the first 42 oldest channel listeners who call 1-833-283-5050 get a free doorbell camera. And it's directly to
I don't know how tall Jimmy Carter is. If he's not 6 foot, he's the exception to the rule. And I bet he's a lot closer to 6 foot if he's not than DeSantis. Oh, well, Google. Nope, 6 foot. George W. Bush was 6 foot. He's tall. I met him. I met him. Well, if Jimmy Carter's not 6 foot, he's the exception to the rule.
With nearly 6,000 stores and over 17,000 auto care centers, NAPA has America's largest network of parts and care, here to keep you firing on all cylinders.
I said since television. There was no TV back in Madison's day. It's because the debates on television. Bush 1 was 6'2", Bush 2 was 6 foot. I met them both. They're very tall.
Rare and underdiagnosed disease. Recognize the signs and discuss them with your doctor soon. Learn more at connectwithyourheart.com. That's connectwithyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
On the air since 1977, it's the Steve K Show with.
All right, we're back. I'm Brian Craig. Steve Kane is here. Call us on hold standby. Real quick, I just tell you guys about my experience with Ron DeSantis at Wings Plus on Sample Road in Coral Springs, which, by the way, Wings Plus has been with us here on the Steve Kane Show. Steve, you know, they've been with us for going on 15 years, Wings Plus in Coral Springs. You believe it? Oh, my God. Well, yeah, they certainly are. And I was eating there. I've been eating there for about 20 years. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. And, you know, everything at Wings Plus is homemade right there, including their clam chowder, homemade right there, including the sauces for all their wings. And I'll tell you how they became a sponsor real quick. Then I'll tell you about DeSantis at Wings Plus. I've been eating at Wings Plus with my family for years. And the Wings Plus on Sample Road was right down the street from our old radio studio in Coral Springs. And I've been telling Steve, you got to go to Wings Plus. And we got off, they didn't open in time for us to get there when we got off the air, right? Because we get off the air at 9. And then one day you had to hang around for a meeting. And when you left the studio, Wings Plus was open. And you finally stopped in after I told you to go there for years. And the next day you came in with a menu and we were doing spots for them on the air because they're so good. And Wings Plus, of course, is located on Sample Road about a mile west of University Drive on the. Well, by the we, you mean you. My favorite is the medium hot, and followed by your favorite, the lemon pepper. Yeah, the lemon pepper, let me tell you, the medium hot are my favorite, followed by the lemon pepper. And Steve had been telling me about lemon pepper. And we were over there for lunch one day at Wings Plus. I ordered a basket of medium hot wings. You ordered a lemon pepper basket. And I said, can I try one of those? And you said, yeah. And I ate Steve's whole basket. And then I ate my basket. And then Steve had nothing to eat. So he had to take. But anyway, So the week before this second election of DeSantis, I was over at Wings Plus with the governor, and he gave a speech there. I know a lot of you were there, and I was very lucky to be invited inside where all the donors are. And of course, these donors were very, very rich people. I mean, their shoes cost more than my car. And they paid a lot of money to be in that room, and I got in free because Brian Walsh, the owner of Wings Plus, took mercy upon me, and I did get some of our listeners got in there too, Steve, for free. But yeah, because I vouch for them. But anyway, when Governor DeSantis came in, I was making a YouTube video, and everyone stood up, so I had to stand up. And Ron DeSantis had a microphone and was speaking, and he was on speakers. But I couldn't find him, and I could hear. I was so Brian Walsh made sure I was close to the governor so I could meet him, and I was close enough though to hear his real voice, not the voice from the microphone on the speakers. And I was looking, I couldn't find him, and I knew he was like right in front of me because I could hear his voice. He was so close. I was looking too high. He's much shorter than I expected. Now I'm not tall. I'm only 5'7". I don't know how tall Governor DeSantis is because he wears heels. He wears cowboy boots with heels, but he's not much taller than I am. And I'm not making fun of the guy's height. I'm only 5'7". But this is what I'm telling you, that even without him destroying his career and being unelectable and trashing our great president, there has not been a president in the modern era under 6 foot tall, except maybe Jimmy Carter. He's the exception to the rule that's been under 6 foot tall. Okay. President Trump, I believe, is 6'2". H.W. Bush was 6'2". I know for a fact. W was 6 foot. Barack Obama is about 6'2". And the reason that is because of television. If Ron DeSantis went out on the debate stage with Gavin Newsom, he'd look like a jockey. Okay. And again, I'm not making fun of the guy because I'm only 5'7". But that visual, that's what happened to Dukakis, that in the tank, and you go out there. If Ron DeSantis went out on the debate stage against Gavin Newsom, the nation would be shocked at how short he is. And that would be devastating. And I know that sounds shallow and petty, but it's a problem. Okay. It's a problem. Kamala Harris is 5'1". She stands on boxes when she's doing debates. But nobody reports it because she's a Democrat. If DeSantis stood on a box, believe me, they'd be showing. You'd see the box. That's all they'd be talking about. He's unelectable because of the height. He would look like I said, a jockey. He'd look ridiculous. All right, let's. Some of these people have been holding on for a long time, Steve. So let's go. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. Steve, it's Andrea.
Hey, Andrea.
Hey, Andrea.
I saw President Trump give it to the American people last night, straight no chaser.
Mm-hmm.
He just laid it out there. And you know what? It might be painful to hear, but
6'1".
that's what the American people needed to hear. So congratulations to Tucker Carlson.
Oh, it was beautiful, wasn't it?
Doing that interview. It was great. And I'll tell you what, I think Trump looks great.
He's the only president to look younger after he's out of office. They all age when they're in office, except President Trump. And by the way, he's the only one that worked while he was president, too.
Well, exactly. I would like to know how many Irish bank accounts are being opened right now. That's the stat I'd like to know. How many Irish bank accounts is Hunter Biden opening right now?
Irish bank accounts? Why, is that a place to hold money like the Caymans in Switzerland, Ireland?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Sure.
Mm.
Ireland, Switzerland, the Cayman Islands, Jamaica,
Yeah. What Aruba, Jamaica? What about Kokomo? Yeah. Well, listen, do you think, yes or no, that on Air Force One on this trip to Ireland that Hunter Biden did an illegal drug on that plane?
I'm sure him and his pops both did.
I don't know about Pops, but we know he's got a problem. Yeah. Hey, Andre, appreciate the call. We're up against our break, so I'm going to take the break. Callers on hold, stand by. We do have the liberal loon line open if you are someone who opposes Donald Trump. I don't understand why. You are welcome to call. We are keeping a line open. That line's been open since 6:45 when Renee from Harlem hung up, but the liberal line is open. All right. And if you missed that interview with Tucker Carlson and President Trump last night, you should make an effort to go and watch the entire thing. Not while we're on the air. Wait till we go off the air, okay? But when we're off the air, go and watch it. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian Craig. Steve Kane, of course, here. Back with your calls after this.
Don't sit on the sidelines. Get in on the action. Call the Steve Kane Show live on air now. 888-GO-KANE-1. This is the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Hi, it's Steve Smith. We look for you for the entire month. We are celebrating our 30-year anniversary, featuring our entire stock selection of luxury vinyl flooring from Shaw and Cortec. This remarkable flooring fits our Florida lifestyle to a T, meeting in innovative patterns that replicate real wood. Shaw and Cortec will spruce up your home and for sure the easiest floor to maintain. We have many patterns and colorways to choose from, all in stock and all on sale. Hey, pick a traditional wood like oak and maple, or a classy European wide and long plank for the cozy washed beach visual. Marked down to as low as $244 a square foot. That's a 30% savings. Come into our stores in Jupiter and Stewart and see for yourself that you will be floored at the great values. These are all on pick up from the do-it-yourselfer or have our professional installation teams do it for you. Usually within a few days. We're family owned and operated.
Sometimes during the break, I have to rest my mouth. My jaws are a little tired between, the radio show, podcasting, talking, recording commercials. Sometimes my voice and mouth gets sore. So my cheeks right here are like sore.
New and used tires. New tires as low as $70 a tire. That's out the door and on the road because Friendly Tire doesn't charge you to balance the tire or mount the tire. They have thousands of used tires in stock too, starting at just $30. Call for a quote right over the phone. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. Experience awe-inspiring landscapes and traverse the great Canadian Rocky Mountains on the Rocky Mountaineer Train with bi-level glass dome coaches, August 15th through the 20th. The only passenger rail service that runs on the historic rail route connecting Canada from east to west. Are you ready to embark on this unforgettable journey? Head to briantrain.com and request a brochure. Book your spot now and make memories that will last a lifetime. That's briantrain.com and request your brochure. Brian Craig here with a question for seniors and those who care about them. How would you like to have instant access to a healthcare advocate at the touch of a button? Does that make life easier for you? You can with I Will Advocates. I Will Advocates will help you set up doctor's appointments, help with your pharmacy, even deal with your pharmacist to make sure that you have your prescriptions. They'll help you find a doctor, including a specialist. If you've been billed improperly by a doctor's office or a hospital, they can help you with that too. They'll even be your advocate when you're in the hospital to make sure you get the care you need and the care you deserve. And that's just the beginning of what they do. I Will Advocates takes care of all Steve Kane's healthcare issues too, and they can do the same for you. I Will Advocate clients are family, and they go back for their family.
Oh, okay. The lady from Baltimore sent me the article in the New York Times about Trump and Merv Griffin. It says right here, Trump claimed a profit of $400 million.
Now back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Listen in the Palm Beaches on 95.9 FM, the Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM, hear us in Boca on 95.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, and anywhere in the world at TrueOldiesFLA.com.
All right, we're back. I'm Brian Craig. Steve Kane is here. I want to talk about Anne Marie's in Pompano. Everything at Anne Marie's is homemade with grandma's recipes. The raviolis, the meatballs, the sauces, everything's homemade. And I've been on the search for great Italian food for years in Florida. I was raised on Italian food. I do not have an Italian mother, but my mother made a lot of Italian food growing up, and I love Italian food. And I just couldn't find it. And I have looked for a decade for Sicilian pizza. You can't find Sicilian pizza anywhere in the state of Florida other than Anne Marie's that's real Sicilian pizza. I went to one place and ordered Sicilian. They gave me, it looked like a thin crust pizza. That's not even Sicilian. They call it Sicilian. And if you've not had the Sicilian pizza at Anne Marie's in Pompano, you are missing out. We had a group of listeners who were vacationing from New York City who took time out of their vacation and had a meal, 7 of them together at Anne Marie's. And he called in on the air and was just telling us how wonderful the food is at Anne Marie's. You got a New Yorker who that's supposed to be where the best Italian food in the world is outside of Italy. You got a New Yorker telling you how great the Italian food is at Anne Marie's in Pompano. That says a lot. We had a guy from Philadelphia, who stopped into Anne Marie's, took my advice, and ordered the Philly cheesesteak, which is delicious, and it's the best Philly I've ever had. Guy called in from Philly, and he said, "I'm from Philly. I went to Anne Marie's and ordered the Philly cheesesteak." And I got a little nervous for a second. Oh, it is. Well, I got a little nervous when the Philly guy called because he's from Philadelphia. They invented the Philly cheesesteak, and he was telling me it was the greatest Philly cheesesteak he's ever had, and he's from Philadelphia. That says it all. And Steve, with the lobster ravioli, when we went to Anne Marie's for our first meal there, you ordered the lobster ravioli appetizer, which is also available as an entree. And that's something I would not normally order because that homemade Italian food, there's so much to choose from. And you ordered that lobster ravioli and you said, "Take a bite and don't do what you did to my lemon pepper wings. Don't eat all." I took a, you think I'm kidding? And the first bite of Anne Marie's food I had was that lobster ravioli, which is, of course, homemade, handmade ravioli made with fresh Maine lobster. And it's the claw meat, which is the best meat in the lobster. And when I took that first bite, I knew I was in some place very, very special, Anne Marie's in Pompano. So Anne Marie's in Pompano was located on the northwest corner of US 1 Federal Highway and Copans Road in the same plaza as the movie theater. When you stop in, make sure you tell them you heard about them on the radio. Okay, our nice listener from Baltimore who called in earlier sent me the article about the Merv Griffin Trump deal that Bob Reich says that Trump lost and was taken to the cleaners. And it's 1988, New York Times. Listen to this. I love it. I love it. Trump's profit was $400 million. That's what Bob Reich says he lost on. Well, New York Times, $400 million profit. That doesn't sound like a loss. That sounds like he made a great $400 million on one deal. That's a loss. I'd love to see what Trump's wins are. Sorry, Bob. I'm just correcting the record, and I want to give out accurate information on the radio. I'm not gloating too much. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, this is Helen from Kansas.
Oh, yes, Helen.
Well, talking about the possible nuclear holocaust, God's word is going to come to pass exactly as is written. And he says in Ezekiel 37 through 39, Revelation 16, 21, Zechariah 14, 12, and Hebrews 12, 29. There's going to be a nuclear holocaust.
Oh, really? They actually say that in the word. I did not know that. They use the word nuclear holocaust. That's interesting. Okay. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Brian from Deerfield.
Hey, Deerfield.
Hey, Brian. How are you? I think that deal you were talking about is probably Resorts International. I'm not sure about it. It sounds familiar. You know what I really took away from the show last night? On the global stage, I think Donald Trump is the best communicator out there. When he speaks, you feel, yeah, I don't think so. When he spoke about the ramifications of nuclear war and the insanity we have in the world, all the way to the emotions of the people working in our courthouse, a great communicator is one who makes you feel what he's saying. And when he was talking about the workers inside the courthouse and how they felt what was going on, and when we're talking about the ramifications of nuclear war, it's not just the guy with a big baritone voice and a $10,000 suit. It's the guy who makes you feel the impact of what he said and makes you feel what he's saying. And when he was talking about nuclear war,
well, let me tell you about the nuclear war part. This is the first time we've heard a president talk about nuclear war since Reagan. And the way I'll tell you how I felt about this. We're going. Bob took us back to the '80s with Resort International and Merv Griffin and President Trump. The way that I feel this morning. and I felt last night listening to the president talk about nuclear wars, the way I felt the morning after I saw The Day After on television back in the 80s. Remember that? The Day After? That's what I felt like. Yeah, he's serious business going on here.
And this wasn't a video. This was just him speaking without a video or anything accompanying it. I mean, that really impacted me tremendously. And do we ever need a voice of family in the world today? What I heard last night is the voice we need.
Well, first off, it's criminal for Biden not to have a summit meet. I know we've got this. Who's our effeminate Secretary of State? Blinken, right? You know, why has there not been a summit? Come on. I mean, gee whiz. I mean, what are his preferred pronouns? You know, but you think I'm kidding? I mean, the secretary, you know how Trump's attorney is like a real tough, scary guy, you know, these guys. That's what you want as a Secretary of State. You know, Madeleine Albright was more masculine than Blinken. She really, and I'm not joking. If you remember Madeleine Albright, she was Clinton's Secretary of State. It is reckless and criminal for them not to have a summit meeting with Putin to cool things off in Russia with Ukraine. It's criminal. People are dying because of it, and they brag about that they won't talk to Putin.
But, you know, every single position in this administration is weak. I don't see one person I'm impressed with or I want to hear speak. It's a disgrace.
Well, because their agenda is different, man. All they want to do is get paid.
Think about it. You really want to see the United States represented in a debate where we've got the people we've got now working for us?
Wait, Steve, it's better than not talking. You've got it. The dialogue would at least slow things down. You want to slow things down. Well, it's better than starting World War III and dropping a nuke.
This Secretary of State we may as well have a Bud Light girl going on with the Secretary of State.
Oh yeah, Holly Golightly, the Bud Light girl. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, it's just a disgrace. But we need a voice of reason in the world today is Donald Trump, and he's talking on the nuclear, possibly the nuclear war, and he's mentioned.
And you got to understand he gets briefings. He gets national security briefings, and he's warning us. He's telling us how serious things are. People don't know. He's telling us how serious things are, and that should scare you. It scares me, and he seems scared. And by the way, I looked up his uncle. That was the MIT professor, John Trump, who was he was a genius. Look up President Trump's uncle, John Trump, the MIT professor, a genius. Yeah. All right. Take care. Thanks for the call. We got to run for a break. Callers on hold, stand by. I know a lot of you have been holding for a while. I'm getting to them as fast as possible. I'm Brian. Steve Kane is here. It is the Steve Kane Show. Our number 888-GO-KANE1. There is an opening on the Liberal Loon line. We'll be back right after this.
Making morning radio great again.
I think you're gonna really love it.
It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Steve Kane Show. Steve Kane Show. Hold on. Steve Kane Show. Steve Kane Show. Hold on. No, I was hoping we'd had a liberal on the line. I was going to put him to the front.
It's going to be a washout day with widespread downpours likely throughout. A 50% coverage of that, and at any point you could get wet. So still unsettled, not quite as windy, but wind still out of the east. I'm WPB F25 First Warning meteorologist Sandra Shaw. Weather brought to you by Palm Beach Patio Furniture.
Well, guys.
Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Voted in the best of the best patio store in Palm Beach County. PalmBeachPatioFurniture.com, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created.
And now, a True Oldies traffic check. Brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club.
Stop and go continues in the Palm Beaches, 95 northbound between Lantana Road and Lake North Road, or by Northwest Road and southbound between West Palm and Lantana.
Did you guys see my YouTube short when I got the DM from Eric Trump yesterday? I made a YouTube short about it. Oh my goodness.
Sponsored by the Florida Department of Agriculture and Consumer Service. Produce tastes better when it's grown closer to home. Sweet good tonight. Sunny Fresh Reporter local where you shop. Learn more at followfreshreporter.com. A message from the Florida Department of Agriculture and Consumer Service. That's drop numbers for.
I'm not embarrassed to be starstruck. I was talking about on the podcast last night. I've met other presidents and very famous people. And I do not get starstruck, except with the Trumps. You know?
Elvis's greatest hits while you wine and dine and enjoy the show. Also, come out April 17th for lunch with a legend.
Oh, it was awesome, Gray.
Golf Hall of Famer Gary Player. For tickets and info, go to bbkennelclub.com.
I know exactly. Man, it looks like it might be raining today. I'm hoping to have it's not supposed to rain on Saturday, so I might get the MAGA scooter back on Saturday. The MAGA scooter is being repaired by some listeners that were on our cruise that have a scooter shop, which I'll tell you all about them after I get the scooter. But it's pretty far from my house where it's at. I had to have it towed there, and so I need it's been raining every day. You know, we're in rainy season in Florida, so I need a sunny day of no rain to ride the scooter home.
Brian Craig here. I've been telling you about how my chiropractor, Dr. Philip Appleton, has rid me of pain from a knee injury and arthritis pain with his laser away pain treatment. But don't just take my word for it. This is one of our callers who called me live on the radio to tell me how chiropractic physician Dr. Philip Appleton helped him with his laser away pain treatment. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name's Sean. I'm calling from Boca Raton. I want to thank you guys once again. I listened to
It's repaired. It's been repaired since Monday. They're just waiting to pick it up. It's about a 25-mile drive from the scooter repair shop to my house, and it's just been raining every day this week. So the guy that towed it, he picked it up at my house. You know, I got AAA coverage on it, so it didn't cost me anything. And it's a motorcycle tow truck. And the guy that towed it, he's like a motorcycle guy. He looks like he's at a motorcycle gang. And he was like so embarrassed to have my MAGA scooter on his motorcycle tow truck. Yeah, Dolly Parton, I'd like to meet her. But I've met a lot of famous people. Been out to dinner with famous people. And I don't get starstruck at all, except with the Trumps.
The other day, the Bible went free, and they're our first My Fellows, and we love them. We absolutely love them. They're just absolutely marvelous. Yeah, I'm so glad. I got slippers on the way, too.
The strangest celebrity I've ever gone to dinner with was George Takei. George Takei. Oh my goodness! But I've been out with other celebrities too. George Takei. All he talked about were the Japanese internment camps. Through the whole dinner, it was just, oh my gosh, it was terminal. That's all he talks about are Japanese internment camps. Steve's been out to dinner with Stan Lee. No.
Are you a business owner? Are you interested in growing your bottom line? Then it's time to join the Boca Raton Chamber of Commerce with members from Jupiter to Miami. You can mingle at the monthly breakfast or
Oh, Eric Trump's awesome.
join a leaders group, learn something new at a master class, or attend one of 3 women's events. There are over 300 events to choose from, including one for young professionals. Sound interesting? Call Allison or check out bocachamber.com. There is a 95% business tax.
You know, I was wondering, so Spicer left Newsmax. What about his co-host? Is she still there?
45 years on the air.
All right, we are back. I was just telling everybody in the chat room during the break, Steve, you went out to dinner with Stan Lee once. But the other person that was there is what makes it interesting. Stan Lee, of course, the creator of Spider-Man. But the other person that was there at that dinner, that's what shocked me. Al Goldstein, and that says a lot about Stan Lee. You know the night, this is something else. I was in a play with Al Goldstein. Yeah. And the night that I asked my wife to marry me, we had dinner that night with Al Goldstein. If you don't know who Al Goldstein was, look him up online. But he was a gentleman. He was a nice guy. But I'd be more interested in going out to dinner with Stan Lee myself. But, you know, I'm not as connected as Steve. Good morning. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Hey, Richard.
Okay, I saw the interview last night with Tucker, and he almost asked the one question I've been waiting for. And the topic is this delay. The judge, that corrupt judge, is not allowing anything until August, and then December, way out in December, to get things done in court, I guess. And I remember hearing on somewhere that there are 5 Democratic governors that say litigation, they will not allow his name on.
That's correct. For the primaries, the judge moved everything to primary season, and on purpose. And you know, the Democrats. This is an old Democrat trick. The Democrats kept Lincoln off the ballot in all the southern states in 1860, and he's, you know, so that's what they're doing. Yeah, that's their plan. Yeah.
It didn't work too well. Didn't work too well in the Lincoln.
Yeah, he won. Yeah, that's right. And then, you know, and the Democrats even ran a candidate against him during the Civil War. These Democrats are lowlives. I mean, listen, Democrats used to enslave black people. Democrats put Americans of Japanese descent in concentration camps in this country. Democrats used to lynch black people. I mean, Democrats are scummy people.
I think maybe I'm misunderstanding. When I hear these Democratic governors want to keep Trump off the ballot, is this the presidential election?
This is for they're talking about the primaries. They're talking about the primaries.
Can he I think one of the comments were that if he is convicted, and even if it is a misdemeanor.
Well, that's not true. There's nothing. Listen, there's nothing in the Constitution that prevents someone convicted of anything from being president. I know they, but that won't stop the Democrats from doing what it is they do. And you know, but I'll tell you what, if they pull some nonsense like that, I'm going to write Trump's name for everything, including like my local city council, Donald Trump. I'm going to write him in for everything. Hey, listen, appreciate the call. Yeah, these are schemers, man. You know what? Listen, the reason Trump was indicted is because of these polls where he's 30 points ahead of DeSantis. That's why they did it, right? They got the polls freaked them out. They panicked. They panicked. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Good morning, caller. Once, twice. Oh boy. That was, you know, that was the liberal loon line. And I that was their chance. If you guys at around between 6:30 and 6:45 this morning, we heard from the guy from Harlem. I forgot his name now. What's his name? Renee from Harlem. And Renee from Harlem, he actually he didn't like it. He had a transformation briefly to MAGA. He called in to bash Donald Trump, and he had all these Rachel Maddow talking points about the president, and I explained the reality in a nice way of every one of them, and you could tell by the tone in his voice that he was like, wow. Now, you know, it did, you know, it did. And, you know, if you go to our radio station website, trueoldiesfla.com, the entire show each day is uploaded about an hour after we go off the air. So today, at around 10 o'clock, and they're archived up there forever. Today, after 10 o'clock, go to trueoldiesfla.com and listen to that call. And he brought up just a whole list of things, and I explained the truth of it. And you could, Steve, he was getting so like desperate at the end. He started talking about my wife. I didn't hang up on him. He started talking about my daughter. I didn't hang up on him. He was trying so hard to get me to hang up on him because he was waking up to the reality, coming out of that liberal haze. And it was a great call. So anyway, True Oldies FLA, go check it out. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name's Elaine.
Hey, Elaine, turn down the volume of whatever device you have on in the background, please.
Brian. Hi.
Hey.
I want to, you had a caller this morning that said that Trump tore the children away from their parents.
That was Renee's call.
Yeah, that's true.
No, it's not.
Look up the Trump family separation policy.
Okay, let me explain it to you. Let me explain it to you, Elaine, all right? Oh, she doesn't want to hear the explanation. She doesn't. Listen,
it's a known fact. He tore young children from the arm.
That's not true. That's not true. Now let me explain what happened, Elaine. Let me explain what happened. Listen, I'm not your husband. Okay, I'm going to explain to you what happened.
Stuff. And then one more thing, Brian.
One more thing.
Trump doesn't get intel briefings anymore.
That's not true. All former presidents do, even Jimmy Carter in hospice.
I didn't stop that.
Okay, now let's talk. Let's listen, Elaine. I don't have to look it up. I lived through it, like all of us did. The Trump first term. What happened? Listen, at the southern border, there's a lot. There's a lot of slavery trafficking going on. There's a slave trade. Some of it's sex slaves, and some of it is labor slaves. And when adults come across the border with children, they separate them, Elaine, so that they can question. So they can question them separately to make sure that they truly are the parents of those children and not sex slave smugglers. Okay, and that's why. And then when they determine they're really the parents, they get reunited.
No.
Yes.
Speaks for itself.
Okay.
It's a Trump separation policy. The family Trump separate family, Brian. It was family.
Elaine, what are you reading from?
Go look on Google.
Go look on Google.
Everybody knows that.
Well, no, you don't know it. You don't know the truth.
I know it.
Mm-hmm.
You guys lie.
No, we're not lying.
Read how you lie. Yeah, you are. You're lying to your audience, and it's disgraceful.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sick of it.
Why do you really hate Trump? Tell us the truth. The real reason you don't like Trump.
Just because of something like that. That was inhumane.
What, making sure that children are not being brought here to be used in underage child prostitution rings? You think that's a bad thing?
I think.
I'll tell you another thing President Trump did. And as a woman, you should stand up for this. Donald Trump shut down Backpage, which is how all the prostitution was being advertised in this country and worldwide. He shut down sex trafficking at the southern border, and he also shut down the largest prostitution rings of the world when he shut down Backpage.
And he also tore young children from their families.
No, he did not. No, listen, what you have are Washington Post, New York Times, Joy Behar of The View talking points.
It's a known fact. There's a policy.
No, it's a known fact. No, it's not true.
That is true. Look it up, Adam.
Oh, okay. Oh boy. I had to use the dump button for the first time. She said, and yeah, and only I heard it. Maybe the people on YouTube heard it. She said it's a known fact. She said, "Look it up, a-hole," and she said the whole word. Yes, nice lady. I wish we could let this stuff out on the radio, but yeah. The delay working, Mike? Yeah, it's working. Okay, I got the thumbs up from Mike, the board op. Look it up, a-hole. That's brilliant. We should keep the liberal loon line open every day.
This is her husband with them now.
I suspect she's a widow.
Yeah.
Or a divorcee. Divorcee or whatever they call them. Oh my goodness. But some man was married to her. Poor man. Oh my goodness. What a brilliant response she had. Listen, if you're on hold, stand by. We're going to take our last break of the day. I love it. All right. You know, we moved the dump button so I can hit it with a different finger than at the old studio, because I hit the dump button so much over the years. I developed arthritis in my one dump button finger. All right, we'll take our last break, our number one 888 cocaine one, and be back right after this.
The cold, hard truth.
Yeah.
Delivered morning 6 to 9.
Yeah, you can hear it, but you can't hear it on the radio. Oh, all right, we are back, and it's time to check in with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated with the Morning Gold and Precious Metals Report. William Youngerman, good morning. How the metals looking?
Looking good, Brian. Hold on one second.
That's okay.
This morning at gaining again yesterday. We saw gold up $22.30 at $2,026. $22.30 up today. The dollar continues to fall dramatically, actually, and silver also gained 57 cents this morning at $25.61 the ounce. Platinum up $22 at $1,016, and palladium gaining $4 at $1,384.
Wow.
Oil continues to go higher, $82.17 on the barrel of oil, and the U.S. dollar falling another over a half a point this morning. The U.S. dollar index down to 101.59. So that's the new dollar index. And so we're seeing a continued fall apart of the U.S. currency and a run to the only real currency in the world, which is gold.
Which has been, gold's been money for over 5,000 years. I mean, we were talking last week, William Youngerman, that there are gold dealers around America that are just out of the metals. But, at William Youngerman's, everything is available for immediate delivery. What's the outlook on gold looking like? I know we don't do a lot of predictions here, but we've held that 2,000 plus mark for quite a while now on gold.
Yes, we did. And we had one little test of it for just one day. So that's very indicative of a market that's heading much higher. We've got our target right now is 2,060, the old high. And once we take out that, the sky's the limit. But I think our prediction of $2,200-$2,300 this year is going to be very.
Wow. Listen, William Youngerman opens up at 10 a.m. He's located in Boca at 150 East Palmetto Park Road, on the first floor of the Bank of America building, just east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto. You can find him online at williamyoungerman.com or give him a call toll free. And you can buy and sell over the phone, by the way, guys. 1-800-327-5010. 1-800-327-5010. Exciting times. William Youngerman will touch base tomorrow.
Okay, have a great day.
All right, back after this.
We take on the social justice warriors for breakfast. Now the Steve Kane Show is on the air.
All right, callers on hold, stand by. Mike, has the delay built back up? We can tell. Okay, it has. Okay, the delay is re-engaged. I just want to quickly explain the dump button. Okay, we're on a delay, and depending on what radio station or what device you're listening to us on, the delay is different. But the delay averages about 10 seconds. What you're hearing on the radio was about 10 seconds ago. Okay, Steve and I are like time travelers. And the reason there's a delay is when someone uses language that's not allowed on the radio, like she used profanity. And when we hit the dump button, it's because of that. A lot of people that are new may not understand what we're talking about. We don't dump for content. We dump because of language. Now, before we go back to the phone, Steve, I want to tell everyone in the audience about this incredible train trip through the great and beautiful Canadian Rockies on the Rocky Mountaineer train. Now, this trip is from August 15th through the 20th, and this is a great time of year because here in the lower 48, that's the hottest time of the year, right? Especially here in South Florida. That's that humidity time. That's the time when the Trumps go to Jersey because the humidity is so bad here in Florida. But in the Canadian Rockies, it's a perfect temperature, right? It certainly is. Now, the Rocky Mountaineer train, it's a double-decker train. The top of the train has glass dome coaches, so you can sit with just this beautiful glass dome and enjoy the view as you pass through tunnels, cross the Continental Divide, go through the mountain passes, go through the beautiful canyons, and of course, the food is spectacular. There's a dining room, there's chefs on board. The tour starts in the East and ends in Vancouver. To learn more about this trip, go to briantrain.com. When you go to briantrain.com, request a brochure to give you all the information. The Rocky Mountaineer is the only passenger rail service that runs across this historic route connecting Canada from the east to the west. This tour is a bucket list tour, no doubt. If you love adventure, nature, and beautiful views, this is for you. Go to briantrain.com. And when you go to briantrain.com, request a brochure. All right, let's some of these people have been on hold a long time, Steve. Let me see here. I've lost track, but I'll do my best. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Speak up. Good morning.
Good morning. How you doing?
All right. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Maria from Florida.
Hey, Maria.
Maria.
Hey, how you doing? How you doing, Brian? How you doing, Steve?
We're doing great.
All right, that's good. That's good. Yes, I was into the car early, but I wasn't feeling too good. But I got up and I took my diet shake that I take to try to get my energy going. So I was listening to the lady that you were just speaking with. What's her name? Elaine, or
Elaine, who called me an AH. Yes.
yeah. And the things that she was saying is just not true, just like you said, because I knew these policy, and that policy was not done up on the Trump. It was done up on the Barack Obama to separate the children, to make sure the children are there safe, because they had traffic, what do you call it?
Sex trafficking. Yeah. Kitty sex trafficking. Yeah.
And everything else was going on. So that policy was made through Barack Obama. And Donald Trump, when he came in office and it started happening, he stopped it. Just like you said, he stopped all of that from going on at the border.
And even if you're an American passport holder and you enter or leave the United States with your underage child, you're going to be questioned. A parent just can't take a minor child out of the country without the permission of the other parent. And there's always, and that's for Americans. This is just, that Elaine. Oh my God, you got to feel sorry for Elaine's husband, though, don't you?
I think he's
because
place.
Yeah, he's getting peace for the first time, Steve.
So that's what I want to call. I was because I was like, oh my God, are you kidding me? You just want to blame everything on Trump, everything Trump doing wrong.
Well, I talked to Renee about this. And by the way, guys, go to trueoldiesfla.com after 10 o'clock and listen to that call from earlier in the show. Renee brought that up, and I explained it to him like I did to her, except he didn't use profanity as a response. And I talked to him when my daughter was in elementary school. My daughter's black, and I would pick her up at school early, like she had a doctor's appointment or something. And there was someone new in the office, and they didn't know me. They wouldn't bring her to me without first asking her who I was, because we don't match. She's black, I'm white. And she'd say, "That's my daddy," and they asked her a couple of questions. And I thought that was awesome. That's security. If you're a parent, you would understand. You want to be questioned, so authorities make sure that's your child, and not just letting your child be taken because someone claims they're the parent. So no, that's a good thing that President Trump did, not a bad thing.
Yeah, it was a good thing because the children was being trafficked, and that's what's going. But it's worse than now. He stopped and he blocked that from going on, and they criticized him and said that he put kids in the cage. But she's talking about, she went on Google. Let me tell you something about Google. Google printed everything negative.
Yeah. And not only that, the mainstream media were running stories about the children in cages, and they were showing photographs in the mainstream media that were photos taken during the Obama presidency. Remember that? And they got exposed on that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Maria, take care. Thanks for the call. We're running short on time, so I'm going to try to get through these calls. Good morning. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Archie from Pompano.
Hey, Pompano.
Yo, you were breaking the 10 rules trying to get that woman to see reason.
You got to listen. Get your mouth away from the phone a little bit. I'm having a hard. You're very muffled. We're having a hard time understanding your words.
Okay.
This sounds like it'll be good.
Yeah, you're trying to get that woman out of you to listen to reason. they don't think that bringing kids over, sexual trafficking and all that, they don't think that's a bad thing, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay, I understood what he said. He's saying I'm trying to use reason while talking to that lady, Elaine. Yeah, I know it's difficult. When you talk to a liberal, logic, reason, you can't use such things.
And he has to the Leslie Stahl career philosophy of Trump derangement syndrome.
Yeah, Trump derangement syndrome is there's no cure.
No, there's not true. No, I'm 60 minutes now.
Yeah.
No, don't play the.
Hey, listen, I gotta let you run because you're a great caller, but the sound quality of our connection is so poor. So next time, call on a better phone because he sounds like he could be a great caller, Steve. He's got a lot of passion, a lot of excitement, and a sense of humor. He knows how to mock these liberal loons with their Trump derangement syndrome. There's no cure for Trump derangement syndrome, but there is a treatment, and the treatment is to get your Trump derangement sufferers to listen to the Steve Kane Show, and it's a treatment. Now, if they stop listening, it comes back hardcore immediately, but they got to listen every day. Good morning. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning. This is Richie. Good morning.
Hey, Richie.
Good morning, Brian. Hey, it's Elaine. She's, this old bat that just called you up was totally right about everything. I mean, look at, he did this terrible thing to children. She doesn't mention that the world is collapsing before our eyes, and we got a half brain dead person sitting in the chair that Trump was in. And when he was here, you didn't see that. You didn't see all these kids getting killed in Ukraine, did you, Elaine?
Yeah.
Blown to pieces in Ukraine, Elaine.
Let me ask you, Richie. Elaine, why do you think a woman like Lorraine hates Trump so much? It sounded like that. It may not have been Elaine. Mike, can you check the caller ID? Was that Mary Trump who called it? Why do you think she hates Trump so much?
Because she's an ignorant woman. Because if you sat and listened to Tucker Carlson last night.
Oh, beautiful interview.
You watched that interview, and he let President, and his comments were so true that this guy in the White House was undercut by the media and the Democrats to make him look like a monster, and he's the sanest man in the room. He's absolutely no monster, and he's actually a great leader, and he's a great president. And these people can't stand the truth. They sit there and they can't stand the truth.
Mm-hmm.
They crap up. It's been all this time. It's been all these years. They're making crap up.
Yep.
Attack this man. I mean, is it better with all these kids coming over the border now, Elaine? You don't see AOC overlooking at those cages when they had them on the floor.
Well, we did some checking, and that was not Mary Trump that called. I've been told it was Margaret Hamilton.
Yes.
Did anybody get that one? Yeah.
Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, I don't know how many people got that one, but yeah.
President Trump was the best thing. The support behind him has got to be very strong. These people in Washington are liars. She's reading.
Well, listen, this is what's happened. Okay, a lot of people that didn't support Trump prior to this indictment thought when we talked about the Russia hoax and all these things. Remember when President Trump in the first campaign came out and said, Obama's spying on me, and the press laughed at him. We found they thought that all these things were conspiracy theories. And when George Soros had Bragg indict Donald Trump, millions of Americans who didn't support Trump and thought all of our ideas were conspiracy theories, they said, you know what? They are trying to get this guy. Everything Donald Trump said's right. And that's why that not only are his poll numbers going to the moon, but the donations by first-time donors is very, very high, probably broken records of first-time donors to a campaign. And it really, they schemed and they schemed and they schemed, and they've turned the country towards Trump, not against Trump. It's had an opposite effect on what they were trying to do.
And by the way, really quick, this president of France just stabbed us in the back and went with China. And under President Biden, Elaine, under Biden, in other words, the same man in the room that was going to bring it the world together is a total.
That's right.
He's actually brought the enemies together against this.
That's right. All right. Take care, Richie. I appreciate the call. Now, before we go, Steve, I got to tell everyone about Any Lab Test Now of Boca and Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs. I use Any Lab Test Now of Boca, as does my wife and daughter. Steve uses Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs. He's closer to that one. I'm closer to the other one. And, my wife and my daughter, they go to Any Lab Test Now of Boca because you're in and out for all of the lab tests in 15 minutes or less, and they send it right to the doctor. You go to your doctor's office for blood work, it's an all-day thing. You got to wait in the waiting room. You got to wait in the office. And then what do they give you? Most of the time, they don't even do lab work. They send you off to the lab, and you got to wait again. Any Lab Test Now of Boca and Plantation, no doctor's order or prescription needed. Just walk in and tell them what you want, and they will send the results directly to your doctor. Okay. And they do all the thousands of lab tests that your doctor will order too. Any Lab Test Now of Boca is in the Sandalfoot Plaza where the Western Beef is, south of Palmetto, north of Hillsborough on the east side of 441. Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs is on the corner of Bramblewood and University by the Coral Square Mall. They're open Monday through Saturday, and appointments are not needed. There's lots of Any Lab Test Nows around, but those are the only two advertising on our radio station, so don't use the rest. Just use Any Lab Test Now of Boca and Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs. Make sure you tell them you heard about them on the radio. All right, that's it for us today, Steve. We'll be back tomorrow, and I think Tucker might have some more that he didn't show last night tonight. I'm not certain, but I think I heard him say that at the end. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. Steve Kane's here. I'm Brian. God bless America, and God bless Donald Trump.
WWNN Pompano Beach.
All right, guys, I got to run. I will see you later. Make sure you subscribe and like the video.